Running your own business is awesome. It's the dream, as they say. But it's very stressful as well. Customers, they'll see the front end, the products, the signs, the slogans, the happy owner. But it's the back end of the business that really drives the ship. The inventory management, the sales conversions, order processing and shipping. The business behind the business is the key to business. And for millions of businesses around the world, that business behind the business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're home of the #1 checkout on the planet, which is why so many businesses work with them. And Shopify brings the heat with their secret weapon, Shop Pay, which boosts sales conversions by up to 50%. And that means way fewer carts are being abandoned to checkout and way more sales are going. If you want to grow your business, you better be ready to sell anywhere and everywhere your customers are. Scrolling social media, on your website, in your store, and everywhere in between. It's no secret. Businesses that want to grow with Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz and Mattel use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/RTG, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/RTG to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/RTG. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And this week it is episode 329, and we are finally delivering on an episode that I have been teasing for like 6 weeks now, XCOM 2. And I know some of you are going to say that that's not a retro game, and maybe you're right. But to quote one of the greatest groundskeepers in the history of keeping grounds, really hears ya, really don't care. It's almost 10 years old. It's a game that I have wanted to play forever. And this week was dealer's choice or donator's choice. So damn right we're going to cover it. Every year as part of my extra live stream to raise money for the Stollery Children's Hospital, I auction off the opportunity to be my guest on the show with all the proceeds going to the children. And Robert, who won said auction back in December, wanted to talk XCOM 2. I've been wanting to talk about this game forever myself. So it all worked out. And let me tell you right now, my friends, did it ever work out? If you like happy, positive, I love this game, Adam episodes, save this particular episode of the show to your favorites. I have been a huge fan of tactical RPGs since I played Fire Emblem Awakening on my 3DS. I was late to the genre, I know, but I'm catching up. If you've never played one of these games, think digital board games. That's what a tactical RPG is. It's like a digital board game. You manage your team, and then you take your characters into missions where you take turns with the computer, moving them around on a grid and attacking each other. They're really fun. I love board games. I love tactical RPGs. There's some of my favorite games of all time are tactical RPGs. Fire Emblem Three Houses, Into the Breach, Final Fantasy Tactics, and many say that XCOM 2 is quite possibly the best in class when it comes to these games. And they're right. They are right. If you have never played it, you play as a resistance group of humans trying to take Earth back from aliens 20 years after the first XCOM, which I haven't played yet, but I will. And presumably they took over the Earth. And so now we're flying around on one of their old ships as like a small rebellious group of humans trying to take the planet back from the aliens. And the gameplay itself jumps between flying around the world, recruiting soldiers and gathering resources, to upgrading and using the facilities in your ship, to the combat itself, which is the board game type gameplay. And I don't think there's a weak link in this game, aside from maybe the fact that it can be a little overwhelming to jump into at first. I think the tutorial, like for such a complex game, I think the tutorial leaves you a little wanting. I put about 15 hours into a playthrough of it, realized that I had kind of fucked everything up, and then I restarted the game with the War of the Chosen DLC, which will be part of this review. I ended up putting over 70 hours into this game. I played it on PC, which, as most of you know, is against my religion, and I can safely say this is one of the best video games I have ever played in my entire life. My guest this week, as mentioned, is my boy Robert, generous hot dog, supporter of the show and winner of our charity auction back in December. And we went just a little over an hour singing the praises of XCOM 2, the combat, the resource management. We do get into the story a little bit, but as far as spoilers go, I think we're fairly clean. We're more going to talk about the different abilities and soldiers you can recruit and the missions you come across and things like that. We basically just talk about how XCOM 2 might be perfect. And we'll get there in just a minute, because speaking of something maybe being perfect, it's time for another edition of the Remember the Game infamous intro. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard. Consider this your warning. Listen, our intros are long, kind of long. They're fun, though. They're a good time. We talk video games and stuff. They're a lot of fun. And if you want to skip the intro, you won't fail and yell at your phone like you will at XCOM when you're 94% to land a game-saving shot and it misses it. You're like, it's fucking bullshit. It's 6%. But if you want to skip the intro, you can, okay? Listen, before I even tell you any about that, listen, this is a big deal. This is a big fucking deal. This has been 329 episodes in the making. Remember the Game is officially on Patreon, ad-free with timestamps. Now, they're not done. I think I've got 77 episodes up right now. Every episode takes me 6 or 7 minutes to upload. So I've been chipping away at it for the better part of a week. I will continue to chip. They should all be up by mid-April. So now when you sign up on Patreon, $3 a month, not only do you get access to the Game Patch library, the Expansion Pass library, our Discord, the ability to write into the show and play one, remake one, erase one, and everything, but you will in the coming days have the entire Remember the Game catalog ad-free with timestamps. Just hop in and go. I even went back and removed all of my initial the show is presented by my website abcomedy.net. All those have been cut out from the beginning. You should be made in the shade, as the kids say. So again, they're not all up yet. They will be up by the end of the month for sure. Shooting to have them all up here in the next week and a half or so. It's just I'm trying to get all the other things I need to do for the show on a weekly basis done and play the games for the show. And then I'm uploading, it's 10 to 15 episodes a day, an hour or two a day I'm spending on it. So if you're thinking about Patreon, now is the time. I just dropped a game patch, which we're going to talk about a little bit, where I completely broke down the Switch 2 release, or reveal, excuse me. Last week's expansion pass was our 250th episode, where we drafted Nintendo 64 games, which was a big hit. And now, Remember the Game ad-free. So think about it. If you've been on the fence, think about it, okay? Let me get my plugs out of the way. It's how we keep the bills on. All of our merchandise is designed by my man Joe from 4545 Creative. You can find it all at rememberthegamepodcast.com. If you're interested, great way to support the show. And of course, as I just mentioned, our lifeblood here is our Patreon. I'm not going to go through that splurb again, but in addition to all the other benefits that you get over there, you also get a shout out and get to hear me mispronounce your name like I'm definitely going to do to at least 2 of these people. A huge thank you to all of our newest Patreons: Reflector73, Robert Abel, Seesaw Cleaves, Bort License Plates, Old Finger, Ian Blanchard, Jason Timberger, Stephen Austin. I don't know if that's a reference to Steve Austin or if that's actually a name, but that's pretty sweet. Sweet Feet 182, Kenny McDonald, Jiffy Scooters, Sam Z, Timothy Fraley? I'm going to go Fraley. Josh Keller, Josh Kirk, that's too many Joshes. My brother's name is Josh, he's evil. Rick Aroni, and Mike Jones. Thank you all so much for the support, and welcome to Remember the Game Industries, patreon.com/Remember the Game. And don't forget, if you sign up for an annual sub at any tier, you get your 12th month for free. That's enough blowing myself. Let's blow with some of you by blowing in some cartridges. It is our opening segment here on the show. I read a few comments and questions from our Patreons, usually gaming related, but not always, and we call this segment Blowing in the Cartridge.
He blows all right. He blows big time.
That's it, honey. Get into the spirit.
Let's blow, and our first blower this week is Cody Thompson. We got a couple of shout-outs I'm going to sneak in here. I think these are all, I have to say, I've had the occasional batch of shout-outs where someone writes in like, hey, can you shout out this for me? And I wonder if they're making it up for the show. I don't think any of these ones are made up. And am I a nice guy? That's for the courts to decide, but I'm not a complete douche, so I want to do some shout-outs. Cody Thompson said, hey, Adam, I'm in the hospital to await the birth of our firstborn. Would you mind giving Carson Dean Thompson a shout-out as he enters the world? Yes, I can. Hello, Mr. Thompson. Remember now, your name is Carson Thompson. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. Congratulations to you, Cody, and to Mrs. Cody Thompson. Congratulations. Spurgeocalypse said, hey, Adam, I know you're a dog person, but yesterday my pet cat Jinx passed away. She was a little Burmese cat, only a few years old, that we rescued last year. My family's pretty devastated. I was wondering if you could do a shout out for Jinx so I could play it for my daughter. Absolutely, I can. I'm so sorry to hear about your loss of Jinx. As you all know, I went through that with Molly last year. Wouldn't wish it on anybody, but know that you gave your pet nothing but love. That's all they knew was love, and you did it. So, little Spurgeocalypse, hang in there, and massive shout out to Jinx. What a little hero. And Bad Zoner said, "Hi, Mr. Blank. I've enjoyed listening to all your podcasts for the past few months. Unfortunately, I also had a dog pass away recently. Her name was Honey Bear, who was nearly 8 years old and had at least another 7 years more. It's been a tough week, and I was wondering if you had any advice to get through this period." You know what, Bad Zoner? I don't. My advice would be to not lose yourself in weed and booze, which is what I did for about 6 weeks, and I gained a lot of weight and felt like shit. I wouldn't do that. Get out of the house, get some exercise, get moving around, go for walks. You know, the one thing Shaylee and I did after we lost Molly that we looked at as like a reluctant positive was we had a little bit more time on ourselves and a little bit more money for ourselves because we weren't spending so much of our time and energy and resources on our dog. So I would recommend doing that kind of stuff. Obviously, I know the hunger is going to be there to replace your pet. I know we want to do that. Take some time. We're not going to replace Molly until we're ready because we don't want to get another dog and just be like, "You're not Molly." We want to get another dog because we want another dog. So take your time, enjoy your life, and get it. I actually have a tattoo appointment on Thursday to get my Molly tattoo. So think about a tattoo. And I'm sorry for your loss. Okay. So those were your shout outs. I can't say no to children or animals. If you want to write in and be like, "Hey, it's my older brother's birthday," I don't give a shit about adults, but children and animals, they make the world go round. Let's talk about some video games and stuff. Fill up my mouth with bum burps said, "Hey there, Adam. I think we're all still waiting for an Echo review sequel. Which of these would you rather review? And none is not a choice. Would it be Echo Jr., Echo in the Tides of Time, Defender of the Future, or Echo 2, The Sentinels of the Universe?" I get asked this a lot. Are you ever going to do another Echo the Dolphin episode? And the answer is I don't know. I know some people want one. If you're new to the show, I recommend Echo the Dolphin was back in like our first 100, and it was kind of I would say it's a bit of a milestone episode for Remember the Game. I got pretty heated on that one. I was hating on that game before AVGN and then made it cool to hate on Echo. If I had to pick one of them, I'd probably do Echo Jr. just because it sounds like the least shitty of the bunch. But I'm really on the fence as I don't know if I could ever live up to the hype of another Echo review. So I'm not sure if it'll ever happen. But if I had to pick one, I would say Echo Jr. Triforce Tony said, "Adam, your thoughts on Cody Rhodes versus John Cena at WrestleMania?" I will be covering, I'll do a full Royal Rumble or WrestleMania preview on next week's Rambling Idiot episode. But I'm stoked. I know some people are poo-pooing on this year's WrestleMania. I think Charlotte and Tiffy has been a disaster, and I'm not looking forward to that match. But I'm stoked enough for Cody and Cena. Stoked enough. It's not the match I'm most excited about. Honestly, of the 4 title matches, and I think this might be a hot take, but I'm actually most excited for Jay and Gunther. I'm a huge fan of Gunther. I wanted to see Gunther versus John Cena at WrestleMania, and I think the last couple of weeks where Gunther went to town on Jimmy and stuff really turned that feud up a lot. I'm cheering for Gunther. I don't hate Jey Uso, but I'm cheering for Gunther. So I would probably say I'm cheering for that. I'm most interested in that match. And then probably the triple threat women's match with Rhea, Bianca, Io Sky, then Cody, Cena, then Tiffy, Charlotte, if I'm going with the 4. So, but I'll give all my predictions and stuff in another week. I'm excited, though. I love WrestleMania season. Bryce Joel said, "Hey, Adam, is it just me, or do you go to howlongtobeat.com and add 10 to 20 hours to the average completionist time to figure out how long you'll spend staying story only? Maybe I just truly suck worse than most people. Curious how close it is to your actual playtime because it has never applied to me accurately. I'm playing Luigi's Mansion, a baby's game. I just started the last area, and I'm already 2 hours past the listed average main story playtime. I feel like I should see a doctor or something." Yeah, I go to if you don't know, howlongtobeat.com is this site that shows, anyone that finishes a game can go in there and put in how much time they took, and then it takes an average to show you the average time to do a complete story run and the average time to do a complete completionist run. And a complete completionist run. And when I get suggested games or when I'm picking games for the show or for the Patreon polls, I do go to howlongtobeat.com. There's my voice crack too. Fuck me. I do go to howlongtobeat.com, but if it says main story is 10 hours, completionist run is 20 hours, I rarely do a completionist run for a review of the episode. But if it says main story is 10, I'm banking on 15. I don't know. I think those times are for people that have played the game numerous times. I think there's a lot of times being skewed in there. So take howlongtobeat.com, but I would add 30 to 40% to whatever time it says it's going to take you to beat a regular run most of the time. Like it says Comic Zone can be beaten like 2 hours or some shit. And like, yeah, it can if you know how to beat it, but I played it for 10 hours and couldn't fucking beat it. So Bort License Plates said, hey, Adam, with the recent Nintendo Direct, most people are talking about the prices of games, but I'm more interested in Nintendo reviving what I thought was a dead franchise in Kirby Air Ride and a new 3D Donkey Kong. What forgotten Nintendo franchise would you like to see revisited in the future? I'm still holding out hope for a new Punch-Out. I'm going to, for the sake of argument, assume that Earthbound/Mother is off the table, and if it is, then yes, I also would like a new Punch-Out. That said, if you gave me a choice between Earthbound 2, Mother 4, whatever you want to call it, a new game in that franchise or a new Punch-Out, I would take a new Mother Earthbound. But if we're taking that off the table, then I also want a new Punch-Out. And I don't want it to be like the kind of cartoony Wii one. I'm sure that one was fine. I never really played it, to be fair. Sure, it was fine. But I want one to go back to like Super Punch-Out roots. Because I love Super Punch-Out. I would like you to take the combat from Punch-Out with the 3 rounds and with the star punches and being able to see like the full body and everything, but then I guess you can see them in Super Punch-Out too. But I would take the combat from the original Punch-Out and put it into graphics that look like souped up Super Punch-Out gameplay. Yeah, and I'd call it Super Duper Punch-Out. And it'd be fucking awesome. And then I would want a boss mode where you have to play through every single one and your health carries over. That'd be sick. Smith said, good day, Mr. Blank. I was listening to the heel turn episode of Expansion Pass, and I was a little shocked and ashamed of myself that our little dude Toad was not mentioned for a heel turn. Doesn't he arguably have the most justifiable reason to be pissed off at Mario in the entire Mushroom Kingdom? He's always cheering Mario on, providing guidance when needed. He dominates Mario Kart. He single-handedly defeats King Wart in Super Mario 2, except for the ice levels where Peach is better, and he still gets no respect. What gives Remember Game community? We are better than this. I'll disagree. I like Toad even on the ice levels, but I digress. I agree. I'm a huge Toad fan. If you don't know, on Expansion Pass a few weeks ago, we did gaming heroes that would make great villains, and we talked about heel turns in video games. And you're right. I gotta say, Smith, well said. You should have wrote that in. I am disappointed in you for it as well. Toad would make a great heel, especially because like he's watching Mario eat mushrooms. He's like, you eat my fucking family to power up, and then all I do is get made fun of for wearing a diaper and having a big head. It's horseshit. Toad would make a great villain. Even if you just like brainwashed him into being a villain because he ate a bad, I don't know, does he eat mushrooms? That's fucked up. But yeah, Toad, I agree. Toad would make a great villain. Toad makes more sense, frankly. Like the only other person I think in the Mushroom Kingdom that makes more sense than Toad to go heel is Luigi. Because Luigi's sick of being the little brother who's scared of everything. But other than that, Toad I see it. Toad makes a lot of sense. KevMao5 said, hey, Adam, when you say Hey, Adam, when you say you'll buy a game when it goes on sale, when do you pull the trigger? I've been meaning to buy Hogwarts Legacy when it dropped to $45, but when it got to that, I said I'll buy it when it drops more, goes on sale. It's been about 2 years, 5 sales, 6 price drops, and it's still waiting for me. Yeah, dude, the number of my backlog of games that I'm like, I'll buy them when they're on sale is like 2/3 as long as my backlog of games I own that I still have to play. So when I say I'll buy a game when it goes on sale, I don't know. It kind of just depends if I'm in the mood to do some shopping. Like for a prime example is Star Wars Outlaws. Like I really want to pick that one up, even though I don't know when I'm going to get around to playing it. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. And it's been choking on my own spit. I always joke that whenever you choke on your own saliva, that's your body's way of telling you you're not as fucking smart as you think you are. And that's what I just got humbled. Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah. So like it keeps hitting 50% off. And I'm like, that is a price. If I had nothing to play, right? I think part of it comes down to how badly I want to play it too. Like if I had nothing else to play right now, 50% off for Star Wars Outlaws, I'd be like, that's a reasonable discount. I'll pull the trigger. But because I know I'm still not going to get to it for like another fucking year, at least, I'm like, you know what? Plus it's a Ubisoft game. So I know it's going to hit like 75%. I think it's Ubisoft. Is it Ubisoft? I better look that up. You guys have forced me. You guys are fucking hardcore. You put me in a corner where now I need to look up things I'm unsure about if I don't want to get bombarded with comments being like, you're right or you're wrong. Yeah, it was Ubisoft. I thought it was. So, I mean, it'll be 80% off soon. But I really don't have a set line. It just comes down to like, A, what do I think the game is worth? And B, how badly do I want to play it? Like, I really want to play Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. It's 25% off right now. And I'm thinking like, that's enough of a discount. I'm going to pull the trigger and pick it up. Whereas, yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, I'm like, I kind of want to play it. I'll wait till it's like 80%. So there's no method to the madness, Kev Mal. And once I've had a couple of beers, Sometimes I'll sit down on my console and just do shopping for shit. I've bought games I don't even remember buying. Like, has anyone else done that? It's, fucking games. And then finally, before we move on, we got to talk a little bit of Switch 2. It's letter time. It's letter time. About a third of the comments this week were about the Switch 2, the price of the games, the price of the system, the games that were announced. Am I getting one? And I hate to be that guy who's like, you want to know what I think? You pay for it. But I'm sorry, I kind of am. I did an hour-plus review of the Switch 2 Direct on Game Patch this week. It's $3. I'm not going to sit here and break down everything I think about the Switch 2 Direct when I just did that for all of our Patreons. But Matt Dye Draws wrote in and said, hey, Adam, do you think any of Nintendo's big titles for the original Switch will be marked down after the Switch 2 releases? My gaming budget is tiny, so I've played mostly affordable indies on my Switch. I'm crossing my fingers for games like Mario Odyssey, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, or Metroid Dread to go on sale. To answer your question, and then I will quickly weigh in on the Switch 2. But to answer your question first, Matt, I don't think they will. I could be wrong, but as they announced in the Switch 2 Direct, not Metroid Dread, but Mario Odyssey and Kirby and the Forgotten Land are getting enhanced versions on the Switch 2 that they're going to want to sell you the Mario Odyssey is a free upgrade, and then Kirby and the Forgotten Land is going to be a paid upgrade. So because they're offering enhanced versions of them on the second system, I don't see them dropping the price, because you could go out and buy the discounted version and then play the enhanced version on your Switch 2 for the discounted price. And Nintendo games just never go on sale, as you guys all know. So I'm not going to say never. I think you'll be able to get a used copy of some of those games at like a GameStop sooner than later for probably 35% off. But I don't think they're going to go on sale anytime soon. I think Nintendo is banking on the entire Switch catalog isn't compatible with the Switch 2, but all the big Nintendo games, the Marios, the Kirbys, the Pokemons, the Zeldas are compatible with the Switch 2. And I think because of that, they're not going to discount them because they know people will still buy them anyway. So I know it's probably not the answer you want to hear. My recommendation would be to keep an eye out for used physical copies. It's going to be your best bet. Just quickly, as far as the Switch 2 goes, because so many people have written in about it. Again, I'm sorry to be that guy, but I'm as greedy as Nintendo, as they say. It is a business. I do have a full hour-plus review on Game Patch, available right now for $3 a month, along with the ad-free Remember the Games. I'm not trying to plug Patreon again. I'm just saying why I'm not going to get too into it here. My basic thoughts are I'm fine with the price. It's going to be $700 Canadian for a Switch 2 with a digital copy of Mario Kart World. And I'm like, yep, that excites me, so I will pay it. I don't have a problem with people saying it's too expensive. My recommendation is speak with your wallet and hold off. If Nintendo really missed the mark on this price, like some people think they did, then they're not going to sell, and then they're going to have to reevaluate their pricing, like Sony's done with the PSVR 2. I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think it's going to sell, but I'm really not upset with people that think it's too expensive. You're entitled to something is worth what someone's willing to pay for it, right? Like, just as an example, my dad is huge into guns. He's a gun collector. He likes guns. I've never even shot a gun. I hate guns. I'm not one of those like, you can't have a gun. That doesn't bother me if you have guns. They're not for me. I don't like them. So like, I wouldn't spend $20 on a gun, much less $700. But my dad, if I told him, hey, you could buy a Switch 2 with Mario Kart World for $700, he's like, I don't give a fuck about that, but he'll drop $700 on a gun. So like, it all comes down to what you think it's worth, right? I wouldn't buy $100 jeans or $400 sneakers because I could buy cheap ones, but other people would buy them. So my thought is it's worth it to me. And at the end of the day, that's what people need to remember. It's a toy. You don't have to buy it. If you think it's too expensive, don't buy it. And if enough people don't buy it, it'll go down. So I'm excited about it. I'm hoping to get one pre-ordered. I was going to pre-order one tonight, the evening of the 8th to the 9th of April, but now Canada just got lumped into the delay because of everything that's going on. And so I don't know when we're going to get our pre-orders here. But I will be buying one. I can't wait. I'm super excited. I don't give a fuck about that Switch tour game. I'm stoked about GameCube games. Donkey Kong looks awesome. I wish we had more first-party titles, is what it is. Like I said, I'd drop a full hour-long discussion about it on Game Patch. So I'm not trying to blow everybody off, but that was like three-quarters of the comments this week, and I wanted to quickly address them. Okay, we got to keep the ball rolling. I try to wrap these intros up in about half an hour, and we are running way behind. So let's switch things up and get to our Smash Hit segment, the official game show. Remember the game industries. Play one, remake one, erase one. And a huge thank you to Classic Concentration from the NES for unknowingly providing us with the theme music for the show. The rules are simple. Every week I give our listeners 3 retro video games. They can play one as it was released, remake one as a modern game, and the third is erased from time forever. As always, there are no wrong answers, but there is a right one. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. This week, we're talking one of the best tactical games ever made in XCOM 2, so I went with 3 more of the highest rated tactical games on Metacritic, and that is Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions, Fire Emblem Awakening, and Valkyria Chronicles. Valkyria Chronicles, I think. And 45% said play Fire Emblem Awakening, remake Final Fantasy Tactics, and erase Valkyria. So let's see what a few of you had to say here, and then I'll tell you what the right answer was. Vic to the face said play Fire Emblem because it's the best in the series, in my opinion, and it holds up just as well today. Remake Final Fantasy Tactics because it's the GOAT, but could desperately use some modern upgrades to make it even better. And I'm sorry, Valkyria Chronicles. I'm sure it's good, but it's up against the GOATs, so it looks like a sheep beside them. And that's the thing is, I think Valkyria Chronicles, like, I picked it because it was so highly rated, and I know there's a loyal fan base out there, as you're going to hear from some other comments, but it is up against Fire Emblem Awakening and Final Fantasy Tactics. That is some pretty prestigious company. I agree. David Dryden said, play Valkyria Chronicles. I really enjoyed this game. The other two have things that need to be fixed. Fuck, my voice is cracking today. Remake Fire Emblem Awakening on the Switch 1 or 2. All I care is that it's on a newer system. Agreed. And then erase Final Fantasy Tactics. We have enough Final Fantasy games, and Delita is such a garbage character. It causes this game to be the required erase as per the rules. I agree. I don't disagree with you. You're going to hear my thoughts in a minute. I don't disagree with you. Russell Segui said, okay, I have played exactly one of these. So play Final Fantasy Tactics because it's one of the few Final Fantasies I liked. Remake Fire Emblem Awakening because I've never played it, but I'm sure the bottom screen on the 3DS did something weird and unnecessary that could be eliminated in a remake. And then erase whatever the hell that PS3 game is because it looked at me funny that one time at the bar years ago. Deep take from Russell. Deep take. Lee Carvalho's putting challenge said, I'm playing Fire Emblem Awakening because it's my first permadeath game and you never forget your first. Me too. I'm remaking Valkyria Chronicles into a game I don't suck at, hopefully. I really like the art style, but I'm just not good at it. And then I'm erasing Final Fantasy Tactics because honestly, I didn't realize it was the third option before I started typing. Deep takes here at Remember the Game. And Boy Who Trades said, I will start with erasing Valkyria Chronicles. I'm currently playing it and it's amazing, but I've not played the other two, so this one has to go. Play Final Fantasy Tactics because I've never played it and I want to experience the original in all its glory. And remake Fire Emblem because I've never played one. And why not remake it like XCOM/Valkyria Chronicles? You got to play a Fire Emblem. I'm going with 11% of you. And I'm taking a chance that the butterfly effect completely ruins my life, okay? I'm going with 11%, as did Glocken2, who said, I'll play Valkyria Chronicles again. This was an easy pick. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I love the story, and I think it's a beautiful-looking game. I'll remake Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lion and do what they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake and completely overhaul it. We know how great a game it is already, so why not shake it up? Unfortunately, this means erasing Fire Emblem Awakening, and it hurts to erase any game in one of my favorite series. However, I can live with this choice since it's not my favorite in the series, and because I really believe Nintendo loves Fire Emblem more than any non-Mario franchise, so we'll get a new Fire Emblem game next year. That's solid point. Same order, different reasoning for me. I'm going to play Valkyria Chronicles because it's the only one of these three I've never touched, and I think it looks fucking awesome. And that left a very difficult decision for me because I'd like to remake both Awakening and Tactics, and I don't want to erase either one. But after stewing on it overnight, I'm going to remake Final Fantasy Tactics because at the end of the day, I think it could use a facelift and some quality of life improvements and stuff more than Fire Emblem Awakening. And I'm incredibly reluctantly going to erase Fire Emblem Awakening because there really are a lot of them. And Fire Emblem Three Houses is better. So if I don't have Awakening, I can play Fire Emblem Three Houses. But I do take the chance that without playing Fire Emblem Awakening, I never fall in love with tactical RPGs in the first place, which would devastate me. So I'm sorry, Awakening. Shawn Michaels to Ric Flair, I'm sorry, I love you. And then sweet chin music. All right. Shout out to Get That Wrestling reference. Thank you, everybody. What have I been playing over the last 7 days? 14 days, I guess. A lot. XCOM 2, 70 plus hours. You're about to hear all about it. I'm playing WWE Day of Reckoning on my GameCube right now for the first time in like 20 years. Holds up. It's a good fucking game. To get ready for next week's episode of Remember the Game, I'm playing Rift of the Necrodancer, which I picked up after watching the Switch Direct from a week ago before the Switch 2 Direct. It's a rhythm-based game on my Switch. It's fucking awesome. If you like rhythm-based games, look up Rift of the Necrodancer. It is fucking fire. It's so good. And then I'm still dipping my toe in MLB The Show and WWE 2K25. Avowed is just stuck in backlog from hell purgatory right now. And then I have fired up Okami to get ready for an episode of the show. It's good. Hasn't really hooked me yet, but I've only put a couple hours in and I've just been busy with other projects. So, okay. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to let a sponsor in here. They're going to do their thing. And when we get back, it's all XCOM 2, okay? So we will be right back after this. We've had some great partners over the years here at Remember the Game, but I don't know if any of them have hit home for me quite like Hometown Hero does. No pun intended. Don't start. It's a transparent, honest cannabis company that helps people and gives back to those that have served their country at the same time. I mean, come on. As soon as I read about these guys, I knew I wanted to work with them. Hometown Hero is a cannabis company out of Austin, Texas, and they were founded back in 2015 by a U.S. veteran. They have two goals: create premium hemp products that can help everyone, and to support veterans by donating a portion of those profits to organizations set up to take care of those who have served. Hometown Hero products are of the highest quality, and everything they offer is made right there in the U.S. of A. Gummies, caramels, chocolates, drink mix. There's something for everyone. And what's more, their hemp is grown locally in Texas, which is something they should and do take a lot of pride in. And they offer certificates of analysis for everything they sell because they want to be clear that their products are as advertised, both in terms of potency and ingredients. No contaminants, you get what you pay for. Just how they conduct business is enough to get my good eyes' attention, but when you circle back to the fact that the company was founded by a veteran and they put such heavy emphasis on supporting veterans, this isn't just lip service. I'm not reading a script I was given here. I'm proud to have Hometown Hero associated with Remember the Game. Reclaim your evening. Visit hometownhero.com and use code RTG to take 20% off your first purchase. That's hometownhero.com, code RTG for 20% off your first purchase. This is an ad by BetterHelp. A band once said, "Work sucks, I know." And I think most people agree with them. Workplace stress is now one of the top causes of declining mental health, with 61% of the global workforce experiencing higher than normal levels of stress from their jobs. And while walking away from your job might not be an option, taking a little time every day to focus on yourself and your mental health can make a huge difference. I know in the summer I try to get outside every day, get a little bit of sun, and just enjoy the outdoors. It really helps. At least until my allergies attack, and then it's ugly. It's important to take steps to combat work stress, and therapy can be a huge one. It's not just for overcoming trauma. Therapy can help you define work goals, set some work boundaries, develop coping skills. It's like a cheat code for life. And if you're thinking, man, I'm too busy for therapy, well, look into BetterHelp. They make therapy as convenient as possible. You can meet with one of their over 30,000 therapists online and on your schedule, just like over 5 million people around the world already have done. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rememberthegame. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/rememberthegame. All right, let's get into XCOM 2. That's why you're here. As always, I like to let you nerds sound off on the game we're covering before my guest and I hog the microphone. And we had no shortage of comments from passionate XCOMers this week. So let's see what a couple of you had to say. Spot said, like most people here, I tried this game because of Adam. I got it on the Switch, but it was too choppy and it would freeze a lot. But I had fun, decided to try it on PC, and I'm having a blast with it so far. But man, there's so much going on that I have to put it on hold until Adam gives his review. I'm hoping he helps break it down to make it a little easier to follow. At this point, all I know how to do is fly to boxes and try to get them, but then a mission comes. So I do the mission, and then I go back to the boxes, and then another mission comes. Help me make sense of this madness. The nonstop missions never stop, Spot. Eventually, you just kind of learn which ones to yay and which ones to nay, but that never stops. It is a confusing game. I agree with that. Idahoju said, reverse time paradox. I heard about this game from Adam, referencing him being told to play it. Having never played the first, but being a huge Final Fantasy Tactics fan, I tried it and I couldn't stop. If I finally finished over a year ago, and now that Adam's played it, the circle is complete. Great game with more than expected replay value. Permadeath makes every decision more important. Agreed. I struggled through that, but agreed. Permadeath makes it better, and it does have borderline infinite replay value, frankly. Professor Monkey for a Head said, this game is my Skyrim. I've lost track of how many times I've bought it on every new system I get. Not once do I ever regret getting it, though. Sniper class with grappling hooks for the win. Agreed. I talked about that in the episode. That was my MVP, was my Templar and my Sniper that could fucking... You'll hear in a minute, but Snipers for the win. Rock Chalk said, I love this game. The tough turn-based combat paired with the base management makes for a game that I am constantly tempted to launch back up. The randomness of team building is another amazing aspect for me. Your squads are ever-changing and different with every playthrough. It almost forces you to create your own backstories or personalities for your unit. War of the Chosen DLC was amazing too. It makes the game completely different and has more of a feel of a sequel than DLC. I would love XCOM 3, but I feel like it's a long shot at this point. Yeah, I'm officially joining all of you in the trenches looking for XCOM 3. I'm going to have to split my time between this and the Half-Life 3 trenches, but make no mistake, I'm living in the trenches these days. And Andrew Pritchett said this comment has a 91% chance of making it to air, which means that Adam will skip it entirely. Well played, Andrew. I was tempted to skip it, but I was too good a comment. I couldn't. XCOM 2, baby. That's why you're here. We're going to talk about it. We're not only covering the base game, but we are covering the War of the Chosen DLC as well, which I highly recommend. You're going to hear all about that. This is a huge game. We went for over an hour, and I still don't think we covered everything. We're going to do the best we can. Minor spoilers, but the story really isn't that. I think the story is, frankly, the weakest point of the game. But when you're the weakest point of one of the greatest video games ever made, you're still awesome. This is one of my all-time favorite games, and I really hope that that comes through in this episode. All right, I'm going to queue up some XCOM 2 music, and when it stops, Robert and I are going back to February 5th of 2016 to talk about a game that launched on PC. I feel dirty just saying that. XCOM 2. Enjoy the podcast, everybody. Let's go. All right, this has been a long time. I feel like I have been promoting this episode for 2 months. It's finally here. Joining me via the blank phone this week to talk XCOM 2, and I'll just throw it out there right now, XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, because it's fucking awesome, is a friend of the show and the gentleman who won our auction back in December on our extra live stream. Every year, we auction off a chance to pick a game and be my guest on the show to talk about it. And that this week is my boy Robert. Made a very generous donation to the Stollery Children's Hospital to be here. Robert, thank you for your generosity, and thank you for your patience, because I know this took me a long time to get through. How's it going?
Nah, it's going good. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. XCOM 2, buddy.
Oh,
What a fucking pick. What a fucking pick, Robert. Let's just start there. You could have picked almost any game under the sun. Not Kingdom Hearts, but almost any game under the sun. Why I get it now. After 70 hours, I get why, but I have to offer the door. Why XCOM 2?
it's one that you just pick it up every year and you're like, oh man, let's just go through this again. And honestly, I didn't think you were going to ever review it, because I heard you kind of try to pick it up and then you put it down. So I'm like, I'm going to force his hand. I'm going to make him suffer through this.
That is kind of what was happening. And it wasn't that I didn't want to. And I know some people are going to write in and be like, it's not even that retro. And I'm like, I know it's not, but whatever. It's fucking, I'm going to age y'all. It's 9 years old now. So
Yeah, no.
Maybe it's not full blown retro, but nine years ago, that's fucking crazy. But you're right. It's one that I have wanted to do on the show forever. I have wanted to play forever. I probably started like 5 times. And then I think what it was it's not that I didn't like it, but you realize very quickly on, like, this is a relationship. This is not a 10-hour game. And, and it just kept getting shelved for that way. But now, like I said, I played 70 plus hours. I restarted, which we'll get into. So I probably put about 50 hours into this campaign, which from what I've seen online isn't like, it seems pretty average for a run through of this game. Yeah. Like I assume you've played it multiple times, eh?
Oh yeah, multiple times. I'm actually glad that you played the original first and then did War of the Chosen, because I've never played the original, so I don't know what that would be like. So it's kind of cool that you got that perspective of with DLC and without DLC.
Oh, you jumped right in with the Chosen pack.
Yeah, I spent that extra $2 and didn't look back.
Well, I had if you've never played it, everybody, we're going to start explaining the game. But when I started it, I had so many people be like, dude, you got to play the DLC. And I'll be honest, like, I hear that about just about every game I play that has DLC. And I very rarely play DLC. It's just, there's already enough game there. And I'm like, I don't care about extra characters and extra fighters. And we're going to go through all of it, everybody, but I am just going to put it out there right now. If you are going to play XCOM 2, I do recommend starting it with the vanilla. They call it the vanilla game, and just play a little bit at least without War of the Chosen, because there's a lot getting thrown at you at once. But if you're into it, War of the Chosen is the way to play it.
Oh
It's insane. So if you've never played it, it is a tactical game. It's, board Fire Emblem, those types of games. And basically now, and this is one of the things I wanted to ask you about, Robert, because I've never played the first one, but this is the sequel. The aliens have won. Like, this game picks up where you're like a resistance group trying to get the aliens out of here because they've basically already taken over Earth. I assume in the first game it's the other way around. They're invading and you're trying to stop them. Yes.
Yeah, in the first game, like, they're invading, and you're like, oh, okay, grab a bunch of guys like you do in this one. And then it's pretty much the same, a little bit different, but yeah, end of the game, you win. And so I kind of like that there's like a 20-year jump, and then it's like, oh, the alien's been taking over the world for 20 years. And then that first, if you do the tutorial, that kind of really starts off the story there and kind of just gets you in this whole world.
Yeah. And there's two things I wanted to touch on there. First of all, I love the idea that, like, I love aliens. I think aliens are just like the coolest. I mean, if they were these kinds of aliens, they wouldn't really be that cool, but I do think aliens are awesome. It's such a great concept for a game that it's because I haven't played the original one, but it would have been very easy to just be like, oh, there's a new race of aliens coming. We need to defend the Earth again, or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, like you said, it's 20 years later, and it's like, no, we're there.
Yeah, we lost.
Kang and Kodos are in charge now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I thought that was such a clever, and like, if I'm not mistaken, the ship that you basically, like, your hub for the game that you're flying around on is one of their ships.
Yeah, the Avenger. Yeah, you apparently the little tech girl, Shin, I believe her name is. Like, her dad took it and did it all up for you guys, and so there's like a little story there as well. But yeah, you're riding around in like a stolen car, pretty much.
That's such an awesome concept that you're living in the alien ship trying to take Earth back from the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fucking sick. I love it. That's fucking awesome. So I think that is very, very cool. And then you mentioned the tutorial out of the top. So, like, when you play this game, because one of the comments I've gotten from a lot of people is they've tried to pick this game up since I've started blowing smoke up its ass on the show for the last 6 weeks. And some people have, like, fallen in love with it, and some people are like, I don't know, I don't really get it. It's slow, it's confusing, there's a lot going on. And I will say, the opening tutorial is well done, but if I have a criticism, and I don't have many, if I have a criticism of this game as a newcomer to the series, I didn't find it particularly welcoming. There is a lot of learn by, like, trial by fire here to get the game figured out. Is that, like, just like, the tutorial is great for teaching you the basics of moving around on the board and, like, fighting enemies, but all the, like, resource management and all that stuff, I found that a little bit confusing, frankly.
Yeah, I think when I first played it, I was like, okay, this looks good, this looks fun. And then as soon as you get to that world map, I was like, I had to put it down. I'm like, what do I do here? What?
Yeah.
So I think I put it down, and I had to, like, go, like, read a guide or something, like, what is going on here? And then I kind of started getting into it.
Yeah, same here. I did have to look up multiple things as I was playing, which normally is a huge turn off for me. It really irritates. Like, I know everybody these days hates the overblown tutorial levels that have to fucking hold your hand for 4 hours and tell you how to do everything. But if ever I've played a game that could have used a little bit better of a tutorial level, it's this one. The opening, like, so basically the game is split between two portions, and one portion is when you're moving your troops around on a map on a board and fighting enemies, and then the other side is flying around the planet gathering resources and, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the tutorial mission off the top is all about the combat section, and it's really, really cool. You control a couple of soldiers, and the game basically, like, it's impossible to lose. I think I don't even know if you can go off the rails and fuck around. I think you kind of have to do what it tells you.
Yeah, I think, like, you go in, you know, like, it's kind of just like you're playing like a little 5-minute movie or whatever. Like, you're going to lose a couple guys and whatnot, and so
yeah. There's like, it's unavoidable. It's just showing you how to take cover, how to move your characters around, stuff like that. Yeah. But what I thought was really cool about the tutorial was, like, it would have been very easy for them to just have it be like a simulation on a computer and be like, get your feet back under you. Here's how you move your troops around. But
Mhm.
instead, it's like almost the most critical mission of the game because you're going in to rescue the commander who is you. Like you're rescuing yourself
Yeah.
from the clutches of the advent of the aliens to then take back Earth. And I was like, what a clever tutorial level. Instead of it just being the easy way out of, like I said, a simulation on a computer, you actually
Mhm.
play out the mission to rescue the character that you will then be for the whole game,
Oh
which I
yeah.
thought was really cool.
Oh yeah.
So that I really enjoyed that opening part. But like you said, and I think this is where the game would lose me when I would try to play it earlier, is that quickly after that, you start flying around the world and having to make contacts in different regions and gather supplies and recruit soldiers and start training them up and everything. And there's a lot going on. And I don't know how they could have done a tutorial in here, but something would have been nice because I learned after about 10 hours, a lot of people actually end up like throwing 10, 12, 15 hours into a run and then restarting because they've made such a mess
Yeah,
of their
that's
first
pretty much
run.
what I did too. Because as soon as you get to that map, you're like, "Where do I go? What? Let's just." I think maybe like you would just start scanning your own base, but you don't really need to do that. And you're like, oh, "Okay, well, one of my things is going up. I guess that's good. I don't know."
Yeah, yeah, it's fucking so like while you're like there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm trying to it's tough because if you've already played the game, I know you know what's going on, but I know not everyone that listens to these episodes have already played everything. And I'm trying to it's here I am being like, they should have explained it better. And it's like, well, Adam, here's the floor, explain it. I'm like, well, I don't know how to fucking explain it. There's a lot going on. That's now I feel the same way.
Well,
Uh
how like in the first few missions, they kind of start. If you play War of the Chosen, I don't know about the other one. Then they start kind of introducing some of the factions, and then you get that faction mission with the Reapers and Skirmishers.
yeah.
And I think that was really well done, kind of introducing those two characters and the story there, how they just fucking hate each other, and at the very end they kind of save each other. Well, except Brayton Mox, he gets captured, but I was like, ooh, this is a cool story.
Yeah, that rehooked me because yeah, when you play in the vanilla version, the base game, you're basically just recruiting. It's really cool. You can like recruit human soldiers from like every country on the planet, basically, and they all come together because the world's working together to stop these aliens and stuff. When you play the War of the Chosen DLC, the expanded version, yeah, like Robert said, there are like there's what's really cool is there's these 3 additional factions, and one of them is actually like rebel aliens
Yeah.
that don't want to be part of the aliens taking over Earth anymore. And these
Mhm.
groups all kind of hate each other, but then you as the commander, think Mass Effect a little bit with Commander Shepard, and it's your job to kind of get them all on the same page and
Yeah.
get them all and it's really I agree. And I thought those tutorial missions were very well done as well to teach you how to use those specific soldiers and their individual abilities because they all play differently as well, which we'll get into because they're particularly the Templars fucking frankly OP as fuck, but I love them. I fucking love this game. The the tricky thing is that when you're in the overworld, like we'll get into the combat later because I want to get into the different missions and the classes and all that kind of stuff. When you're
Yeah.
doing the overworld and resource management and stuff, right out of the gate, there's like this big timer at the top of the screen. And
Mhm.
basically what it is the aliens are working on something called the Avatar Project, which is basically going to be the end of times. Like that's the game over.
Yeah.
And it's filling up as you're playing, and then you can take on particular missions or take on main story missions in the game that can reduce that timer. But while that timer's going on, you're also doing other missions that don't have any impact on that timer but need to be done to pick up resources, level up your team, get better equipment to take on tougher enemies and stuff like that. And I think it's again, if ever there was a time where I have an issue with a little bit of a frankly lack of tutorial, it's that because when you first start playing this game, this avatar counter, I don't know about you, dude, but it was at the top of the screen and it's got like 10, I don't know, like 10 blocks in it or whatever. And when they're all full, then it's the timer starts counting down from like 30 days to 0 days, and that's the end of the game. And I'm freaking out. Like I'm like, holy fuck, I've got 3 of my 10 blocks filled. I need to go and take on a mission to reduce it. But those are some of the toughest missions in the game when you're not leveled up and ready to take them on. So then I'm losing all my soldiers. It's still not completing. And the thing is filling up more. And that's when I finally looked up a tutorial, a guide online, and they were like, dude, most players let it get to like 3/4 of the way full. Don't even touch it. Like just worry about leveling up your characters and getting stronger so that you can take on those missions. And I was like, well, fuck, this fucking game's making me think, you're fucked if you let it get over like 30% full. And it's like, it can get to 90% full before you even need to like blink at it.
Yeah, I
And
get way up there, and then you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do a couple missions and just knock it down, and then there's some resistance comm missions where you can do and knock them down by two, and yeah, and then you can like blow up a couple of alien facilities, and I kind of just left those alien facilities until the very end, where I'm like, well, I got nothing else to do. Let's just kind of fuck around and start blowing these up.
yeah. Yeah, same here. And so for those of you that have been asking me for advice, it's much easier for me to do it on this show than it is to just type out the comments on like Discord and shit. One of the big pieces of advice I would say is like Robert said, there's particular missions, they're like facilities that pop up, and they're basically like alien warehouses. And if you go in there and sabotage the warehouses, you set back that timer a little bit.
Mhm.
And later on in the game, the missions aren't all that difficult, but in the early going, they can be until you start getting better armor and better guns and some more abilities with your soldiers. So the first piece of advice I have for all of you is don't go rushing into those. Like you can let that counter get to at least 70% full before
Yeah.
any real panic sets in. For my money, like the early going in the game, the priority needs to be gathering like supplies and intel and getting your ship started to build up, which is another thing we'll get into. There's a lot going on here. And get your soldiers built up, because your soldiers in their early phase are useless.
Yeah.
They're pawns.
Yeah, and
Um,
you don't want to go through one of those alien facilities early because I think on the left of the screen you'll say, "Oh, there's a powerful alien defending this one," and because there's three alien rulers, and if you go and you activate one, I think he can show up. Yeah, he can show up in other missions too. So
yeah.
if you go and activate him, then some of your other missions are going to be a little bit tougher.
Yeah, so if you play the vanilla version, those guys aren't there. If you play the War of the Chosen version, there's these three like super powerful aliens, the Chosen. And yeah, like Robert said, once you trigger them once, they each have like a territory of the planet that they're in charge of, and then they can just randomly pop into any mission you're doing in that area.
Oh, no,
And they can be a
not
real pain in the ass.
not the chosen. The three alien rulers. Did you have those guys?
The three alien rulers.
Yeah, there's like
Oh, the like super, yeah, like the snake, the berserker.
yeah, those
Yeah,
guys.
like those. Yeah, yeah. So then, in addition, so like, there's these three chosen aliens. There's like a sniper, and they're super powerful, and they keep popping up till you defeat them once and for all. They're a pain in the ass. But then
Yeah.
there's also like mutated versions of standard enemies that are hella strong, and they'll fuck you around too until you kill them once. And so yeah, like it's just there's all the it's fucking like one of the great things about this game is like if you played Gears Tactics, Robert.
Very little bit, like a little bit, yeah.
It's good. It's a solid tactical shooter. But the one issue I had with Gears Tactics was that it felt like the same 5 or 6 missions on the same 4 or 5 boards, and it kind of
Mhm.
got by the end of the game, you're like, I've done this like 100 times.
Oh yeah,
And in XCOM or XCOM 2, at least, while there is some repetition in the missions, it'll be like, hey, go find a very important person and subdue them and get them out of here, or go
Mhm.
hack this computer and blow this thing up. Like it's or kill all the aliens. Like there is the same types of missions. The sheer like scope of the levels combined with all these random popping in super powerful enemies and stuff,
Oh yeah.
combined with all the customization you could do on your own squad, I never felt as bored with the combat as I got with Gears toward the end.
Yeah, because the missions are always different. Like the mission type could be the same, but you could be like in a broken down, like underground, like sewer, or you could be like in a nice brand new city. And then yeah, a couple more missions later, suddenly new enemy shows up, and you're like, oh, geez, how do I deal with this guy? Geez, okay, go back, go back.
Yeah. And like with a lot of these games, like going back to Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem is the one I probably know best. So going back to Fire Emblem and stuff, you can play around with it and cheese it and not play with permadeath on. But I personally feel these games are best played with permadeath on.
Oh yeah.
And so if one of your soldiers gets killed in action, that's it. There is no magical formula to bring them back. They're just gone. And I personally love the stakes. Like I like how much more every move matters, because it's like fuck, especially once you've played it for 20 plus hours.
Mhm.
And like I had 2 snipers, and those 2 girls were like the heart of my whole squad. I was like, if something happens to one of them, I might just drive the ship into the ocean and give up. And like the idea, and I almost lost one of them on one mission, and you can restart basically at any turn you want. Like it's good with its auto saves and stuff if you want to, but I didn't want to cheese and I didn't want to play that way. But it makes it like it's one thing when you play a game and it's like, I'm just gonna kamikaze and throw my guys out there and whatever, we'll let them rest up between missions. To lose someone that you've sunk so much time and energy and resources into is fucking devastating.
Oh yeah, especially if you create your own characters and put them in your pool. Did you do that, or are you just gonna
No,
skip?
you can like create your own guys and name them and everything. I didn't because I don't know, I put enough time into this as it is.
Yeah. No, I
So
did it. So I put me in it. I put my wife and kid in it. And I sent you a pic. I put you in it as
yep,
well.
it was awesome.
And then it's like when you're about to go on a mission, it's like, no, I don't want to take Adam. No, I'm just gonna fuck this one up.
Yeah. I
Or then
will too.
it's like, okay, and then you can also like bond people. So yeah, okay, me and my kid, we bonded, and then it's like, well, who's gonna bond with my wife? I'm like, no, not gonna. He's not gonna bond with Adam. Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, stay away, stay away. But yeah,
No, it's awesome.
really affects your choices because you're like, oh, okay, I'll put like two of my good guys that are really, yeah, but they'll kind of stay back, and oh, this new guy, you can go and pathfind. You can go and get killed first.
Yeah, and that was one of the things I found was that like when you go into especially like a mission where a new enemy pops up, like these superpowered enemies or the Chosens or whatever the fuck, you kind of need to, again, like there's no tutorials. It's not going to tell you you kind of learn their moves and their attacks and what they can do on the fly. And
Mhm.
that can be a very stressful thing when you're on a higher difficulty mission and you've taken some of your best troops. It's I'll be honest, like it's one thing when you go into a lower difficulty mission and you send a bunch of newbies out there and you're like, hey, a couple of you probably aren't coming back. I'm not that attached to you. But
Yeah.
when it's your A squad, you're like, fuck, and then these new enemies are showing up on the toughest missions where you have to use your A squad. And now you're
Mhm.
trying to figure out on the fly, what can they fucking do to attack? Because some of them are like the variety of attacks that enemies have is fucking crazy. It's
Yeah,
fucking,
especially when like you think you're doing all good, and then you accidentally trigger like a second enemy squad. So now you got like 6 or 7 guys instead of 3. You're
yes.
like, oh, who's moving next? Who am I
Yeah.
saving?
Yeah. And that was one of the things I found. So to just backtrack a little bit, when you're in combat, you, each of your characters by default has 2 actions on their move or on so when it's your turn, usually you have a squad of 6. Or well, once you start with a squad of 4, and then you can pay to upgrade it to a squad of 6.
Yeah.
So most of the game, like I'm thinking with 6 people.
Hmm.
So you pick 6 of your soldiers and then you throw them into a mission, and then every time it's your turn, each of your 6 soldiers has 2 actions, and so they can move when you go to move them on the board. There's a blue spaces and then yellow spaces. And what it's basically telling you is that like if you move within the blue spaces, which is closer to where you're starting, then you still have a second action that you could use to like attack or use one of your special abilities or whatever. If you move into
Hmm.
the yellow spaces, you're dashing, and for the most part, you're throwing away your ability to attack or anything for more movement. And when you're moving your characters around, a lot of the time you can't see the enemies. You can kind of see the whole board, and they're big boards, but
Oh yeah.
most of it's covered in fog. And then as you move, the fog kind of dissipates, and then you can kind of see a little bit more that's there. And once you initially spot a group of enemies, because they're spread throughout the board in like groups of 2, 3, 4, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Once you spot a squad, then that squad's going to come at you and start attacking you. But like Robert said, one of the biggest mistakes that I made early on in the game that I had to correct as I played was like you kind of crawl ahead on the map. Don't send people like, especially let's say of your 6 squad mates, 5 of them have used both of their actions and they're done. Do not send that 6th person off looking for more enemies, because all you're going to do is trigger a bunch of enemies, have no attacks left to attack them with, and they're just going to come and start feasting on you.
Oh yeah.
And that was one of the things that really took me a long time to figure out was like when you come across a group of enemies, 90% of the time the play is to take out that group before you go looking for any more enemies,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's so
I found,
easy to get overwhelmed.
like if you're not rushed, it sucks for like some of the missions where it's like, hey, you have 6 turns to go here, then you kind of like forced to rush.
Yeah.
Some of the missions there's no timer, and you have a guy like the Reaper or someone who's concealed. Then I would just send him out on like little scouting missions and be like, okay, there's a guy here, okay, I can kind of set up. And yeah, one of the abilities you have is Overwatch, so you can set up these really awesome ambushes.
Yeah.
So as soon as they come in and you kind of trigger them, all your guys are taking shots, and then you guys are trying to run for cover, and then you're just annihilating them, and then it's so much fun when you just annihilate a whole squad, and it's like, yeah, that's how it's done.
Yeah, and that's one of the things the tutorial teaches you is how to use Overwatch, which is an ability every character has. And like Robert said, one of the funnest things to do in the game is to get 4 or 5 members of your team into various like cover spots with Overwatch set, and then send someone to trigger a bunch of enemies. And then all that happens is if any of your characters have Overwatch set, as soon as an enemy moves and they're in their sight line, they'll take a shot at them. And so yeah, it's so fun. It's the most satisfying feeling in the world to have your whole squad just set in corners and up on rooftops to get Overwatch ready to go. Then you send someone out to just be like, hey. And then when all the aliens start running at you, you just watch your whole team go off on them. It is, oh, it feels good. It's so infuriating. Obviously, we had to bring it up. It's so infuriating when you go to all the time to set one of those up, though, and then your team can't hit the broadside of a barn and they miss all their fucking Overwatch shots.
Yeah,
And you're just like, well, now all we've done is fucked ourselves. Way to be. You had
we
one
just
fucking job.
all we've done.
Fuck. God damn it. The fucking misses. I gotta say, because that's the meme with XCOM is that like, oh, 94% chance to hit, you're gonna miss. And like obviously the percentage chance of you hitting an enemy depends on like your character's aim, the gun they're using, how close they are to the enemy, where they can see them and all, and it's fine. And listen, I play poker. I understand if you're 89% to win, there's 11%, there's a 1 in 10 shot you're gonna lose. I get
Yeah.
it. But everyone that plays XCOM, I think it can agree. There are times where you're just like, get random my ass. Like
Yeah,
there's random my ass. Fuck
you have a
you.
shotgun, and it's the guy's not in cover, and you're like, okay, 95%, okay, and then you miss. You're like, oh, are you
Oh,
serious?
that said though, I can't think of a system I would prefer. I like that there's a chance of that error to it.
And
Because
it's
dude,
also
it can be
really good when you like say you got a sniper, and you can see a guy. It's happened to me where like, one of the chosen was there, and I only had 2 sniper shots left, and both of them were like 40%. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's just go for it. And both of them hit, and just totally changed how that mission would have gone, because
yeah.
he would have messed me up somehow. So I was like, oh my gosh, you just feel so good after that.
Yeah, dude. And that's where I think I love the RNG in this because, yeah, it can be frustrating when you're 80, 90% to land a hit and you miss. And it really, because he can really fuck you over. You're like, dude, I'm 90% to take this guy out. I'm going to leave this character of mine out of cover because he's 90% to kill that guy. And then he's fine anyway. And then
Yeah.
you shoot and miss. And now you're like, fuck me. Because now they just take a big bite out of your ass because you left your characters out of cover and standing there with their pants down. But I love that randomness because there's a sense, it has another layer. There's so much strategy in this game. Like what characters do you want to take in? How do you develop them, which we'll talk about? How do you manage your resources? But then, like you said, even the percentage shots, you could be 40% and you're like, fuck, if I land this mission's over. Like we've won. If I miss this, I know I'm going to take some shots on the chin before I get another chance. Do I roll the dice on this 40%? And it comes down to how bad you want to gamble. Like if your team is completely full health and there's only 1 or 2 enemies left, you're like, you know what? Even if I miss, it's not a big deal. I'm going to roll the dice. But if it's life or if it literally could decide whether or not one of your soldiers gets out, then you can't. Then it becomes how much are you willing to gamble? And that's where, again, it gives you a lot of freedom to go back and reload saves if you miss a shot and stuff like that. I feel this game is best played. Just let it go. And if you want to roll the dice on a 40% shot, knowing that the consequences could be dire, then fucking roll the dice. I love that.
Oh yeah, this game does have a Iron Man mode, and highly recommend playing on that, because you're just totally invested in these guys, and every move is calculated. It's like, oh, do I set up? Do I go one more step further? Oh,
And that one step can fuck you. Cause you could go to like, let's say you move a character 6 spaces, and then you don't see any more enemies. You don't trigger any enemies. Nothing happens. But then you move them 7 spaces, and that extra spaces put you in the side of those enemies, and you just unleashed hell. And
yeah.
it's, and
You're like,
I
oh,
want to go back to something you mentioned. Some of the missions are timed. You have like 7 turns to accomplish your objective. So you can't crawl up the screen slowly looking for enemies. But then some of the missions aren't timed. And so if you want to, you can move each character 3 spaces, go into Overwatch, 3 spaces, go into Overwatch, and just crawl along. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a preference of one or the other, but I think they did a really good job balancing out how often it was one or the other.
Yeah, like it didn't. The time missions didn't always happen, and some of the time missions, you can do something to extend that timer. Like if there's like a power relay, you have
Yeah.
to destroy. There'll be little power nodes. I think maybe they get like 5 or 6 of them, and each one you destroy gives you an extra turn. So you can kind of
Yeah.
extend that a little bit. But then it's
Yeah.
also, ooh, do I want to save someone or extend it by one? Because
Oh, buddy, I had a mission near the end where it was one of those ones. I was in the sewers and I was trying to get to, I remember I was trying to like blow up a computer or something. And I had 4 turns to get to it. And there was tons of power relays throughout the sewer. And so on any one of my turns, if one of my guys shot a power relay, it would add one more turn to the counter that I had to complete my objective. And I
yeah,
just painted myself into a fucking hole because I threw a grenade at a guy and it hit the enemy, but it blew up a wall. And when it blew up the wall, there was another set of enemies behind it. And then it
yeah,
triggered them. And so now, buddy, I'll never forget this one mission I was playing because it was like most of my good soldiers too. And we were just surrounded. I must have had like 8 or 9 enemies coming down on us. And I had 2 turns left before the timer was going to expire. And I'm desperately trying to figure out how many enemies can I take out while I still leave at least one shot to take out
hmm
one of these relays to buy myself one more turn to keep it going. And I'll tell you, if you've played this game, like there are times where it is literal chess and you are sitting there for like a minute just staring at the board and going around your soldiers and being like, oh yeah, they have that ability. I haven't used that one in a while, but maybe if I use that, combine it with this one and then move them there and then hit this 50-50 shot, I could keep it's fucking by the end of the game, when you have so many different abilities and different buffs attached to all your different characters, it's
hmm
fucking wild how long a mission can go. I've
oh
had
yeah,
boards that took me like an hour to
oh
get
yeah,
through. It's
easily,
crazy.
easily. Yeah, there's so many different ways to go, and you kind of like forget what your because if you start using just random guys, you forget like what their abilities are. You'll have like an A squad, and you know them like off that back of your hand. Like like oh your sniper has this one, you got the healer, you know those guys by. But once you start getting like some random guys, if like your main guys are hurt, you kind of have to stop and go, what does this guy do again? What does he do?
Yeah, and that was something I found difficult was you can't always just roll out your best 6 or 7 soldiers because then what's going to happen is you've got an alpha squad and then a whole bunch of scrubs that are worthless that don't have any abilities. But you can't just roll out scrubs every game because like Robert said, it's hard to remember what abilities like you could have like so there's 4 basic character types in this game off the top and they're the specialist, the grenader, the ranger and the sharpshooter. And sharpshooter is your snipers. Rangers have swords and can do melee attacks with their guns. Grenaders are like your heavy hitters that can throw lots of grenades and they got the big like arm cannon guns. And then the specialists are soldiers that have these drones that fly around with them that you can either program to attack enemies and stuff or to help your guys with buffs and things. And then
Mhm.
there's more character classes on top of that as you keep the game going. But you can have 2 different, like say 2 rangers and build them completely differently
Oh yeah,
with their
yeah,
abilities because every time a character levels up, they have a choice between 2 abilities and you can pick whichever one you want to assign to them. And,
yes. So like you
and
could have like a sniper who's like, oh, is he going to be like a close range gunslinger guy, or is he going to be a guy who just sits back, he hits one move, and then he just sits behind this tree and just snipes people all mission long?
yeah, and I agree with you. That was one of the problems I ran into in the game because again, especially when you played on War of the Chosen, there's the 3 additional rebel groups
Yeah.
who each have their own abilities as well that can join your group. There's Reapers who are kind of like sneaky assassins that they can hide a lot and the enemies can't find them. There are the Templars who do like mostly melee attacks. Who I found, dude, I had a Templar nicknamed Shock who was my MVP by a mile. Like that girl, she could run around the whole map. She's just fucking up everybody. I was like, you are my hero. Please
Yeah.
never leave me. And then so who is? Oh, and then the Skirmishers
Yeah.
who are kind of like they can do some melee attacks, they can do some shooting, they have grappling hooks. Like so, then they each have their own abilities. Plus, then later in the game, you get the ability to develop psi operatives who can use like telekinesis to do attacks that way. And you're trying to keep track of like 8 different types of characters, and each of them have different builds and different ways that they're set up.
And then
And
you can
like Robert said, I
also
found
get
it very I found it very difficult to throw in one of my like lesser used characters and then try to remember how was I building you, because in the late game, if you don't know your characters and their abilities, you're kind of fucked. Like the game expects you to know how to make your abilities mesh with each other properly.
Yeah, I find the
Uh,
best one was always take one or two lower guys, and if they can finish off a guy, let them trying to just
yeah,
level them up.
yeah, because that's where they get most of their XP was on the kills.
Yeah,
So like let one of your powerful guys wear someone down, and then let a rookie, you can. All right, Timmy, here's the gun. You have the final shot there.
and you get there's
So
also sometimes where you can like farm kills, because when you're all done, sometimes they'll be like, oh, we're sending in reinforcements. But if you got to do is just escape. What you can do is just surround, because they'll set like a little red flare, and next
yeah,
turn drop it in. So you can just move all your guys so they can watch that. Set Overwatch, and then those guys are just created to kill box. So then you get all the guys coming in, like two or three enemies will drop down, and then they're dead next turn because all you guys are Overwatched, got clean shots, and then you just can kind of do that
yeah.
and just farm kills and just level up every guy.
Yeah, for those of you that have played Final Fantasy Tactics, not that it's the same, but the way you can sit around and just farm as the enemy constantly throws in reinforcements at you, and you just set your characters up to be a circle, just killing them. It's like in Final Fantasy Tactics how you can use you can use attacks on each other to just kind of farm the XP to level your characters up. Another great way I found to level up and get more kills was when we would deal with the Lost, the fucking zombies,
Oh
because
yeah,
every time you kill a zombie, you get your action back. And
hmm
so if you get a hold of a character who's got like free reloads on their gun or a gun with a lot of ammo in it, you can set them up to just sit there and just like let a swarm of 7, 8, 9 zombies lost running at you and just like pop, 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 pop. And it can be pretty satisfying. I had a sniper. Again, I had these two snipers. My best build was I had one sniper and I gave her the armor of those like flying god looking creatures.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I could basically like have my sniper teleport anywhere I wanted her to on the map. And then she had one of like the Chosen's particular guns, which had a massive canister in it, plus free reloads. And then she's just flying all over the map. She's got armor piercing bullets on. And so I was just like, I would just get her up in a perch. And it's literally every single turn when it was my turn, my first play was like, okay, where is she and who can she kill? And then I'll figure out everybody else afterwards. And like
Yeah.
it's so satisfying when you've got those just fucking mutant characters that can fuck up everybody. It's really I will say, I don't know if you found this, like I almost found the back half of the game easier than the front half, because by the back half I had enough resources and enough strong soldiers that there really wasn't. The only time I had any problems was when I was dealing with one of the three chosen supervillains or
Mhm.
one of those mutated supervillains that would pop in. And even they were like devastating. They just made things hard. But when it was just like a swarm of regular enemies, I barely even had to think. It was just going through the motions, but it was fun.
Yeah, this is
Um,
one of these games where the longer it goes on, the easier it gets because your guys get leveled up, you get better equipment. The equipment you can add attachments to. Yeah, it just kind of gets easier and easier. And then plus, you're also learning the game. You see an enemy the third time, you're like, I know your moves, buddy. You're dead.
Yeah, dude, that was something. The first time you come across a different enemy type, every single time, I would just like a little part of me would just be like, uh oh, because I had no fucking idea what they could throw at you. Once you've dealt with one a few times, then you're just like, oh, okay, this isn't bad.
Oh, yeah. You
But
know.
what's
Yeah.
that? Yeah,
I
yeah,
found for the lost mission one of the best things to do is have like two snipers because they have a pistol
yeah.
and the pistol does not run out of ammo. And so you could just knock off like a whole bunch, especially if there's some of the lost or like half health or whatnot. You
Yeah.
can you can just level those guys up easy.
Oh yeah, super easy. Or what else was awesome with the snipers was you could get a hold of that ability where they'll take a shot with their pistol at every enemy they can see.
Oh,
And if you give them a strong pistol and some armor piercing ammo, put them up on a perch where they can see like 8 enemies, and then just click that and just let them go.
it's so satisfying.
It's so fucking. I fucking love this game. Okay, we're almost 40 minutes. Okay, I gotta let it spot. I got bills I gotta keep on. So let me do that. We still need to talk about everything to do with building up your ship and your resources and everything. And we have lots. We'll be back. Okay, give it just everyone. We'll be right back. I still don't even feel like we're done with the combat because it's not just like you're fighting different types of aliens and stuff, but there's
Yeah.
also like robotic enemies,
Oh yeah.
and some of them are some of them are motherfuckers.
Oh, the
But
sectoid. Oh, I hate that guy.
the fucking those giant
The giant.
fucking oh my god. And like, and not only do you have to deal with like, so there's like flesh and blood aliens, and then there's also these robotic ones. And the robotic ones, one of the cool things about them are some attacks, like you can get specific like EMP grenades that won't even hurt physical,
Mm.
like organic enemies, but they'll just wreck fucking robots.
Yeah.
Your
Or you know,
specialists.
some
Go
some
ahead.
of the some of the robots, like if you have a specialist that is not a healer, if you put him into like just a hacker guy, you can hack into the 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 machine guys and then take him over, and then suddenly he's on your team for a couple turns, like effing up people. Oh, so
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, it's so good. And like, and not only that, but like you can have your specialists, even just like you can send their drone out and they'll do like they can do a guaranteed attack to any enemy.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if they do it to a robotic enemy, they do like double damage.
Damage, yeah.
So then it becomes again just one more layer to the combat because you're dealing with over here. I've got fucking two sectoids, which are like the basic alien creatures that can like mind control you and shit. And then over here, I've got fucking a berserker who every time we go near him, he just fucking puts us all in stunned and hits us all. And then up there, there's fucking three robots that I need to figure out how to deal with. And
Mhm.
mixing and matching, it's just it really listen, I don't think I need to sit here and state the brilliance of this game with all of the reception and how much everybody loves it, but like the endless variety of enemies and attacks. And then as you're moving your characters around and using all their abilities, you're also trying to put them, you can put them into anything. Anytime they're standing against a wall that's like as tall as them, they get full cover. If they're
Yeah.
leaning against like a wall like that's half as tall as them, then they get half cover, and that can help your and the enemies can do it as well, and that'll help your chance of taking damage when they shoot at you and stuff. And you're trying to mix and match all of these things, and it's just
Mhm. And then
only
also, if you go up to like the top of the tower, the higher you are, you gotta get a bonus aim.
yeah.
And so if you put a sniper like on the top of a roof, like where a sniper should be, oh, he can just start his maybe 80% aim is now 95%, and then he is just one of your most valuable guys out there.
Yeah, and they do a great job of balancing that. Like you can climb up top and have, like you said, the bird's eye view and shoot at people. But then when you climb up top, enemies, particularly those fucking robots, can shoot like grenades and missiles at you, which won't only hit all your characters that are within like a vicinity of an area, but they can actually blow up the buildings and stuff you're standing on, which will cause you more damage, which you can also do to them because you fall as the building explodes. It's just it's I'm truly in awe of how deep the when you play that initial tutorial level, it's cool. It shows you how to take cover, how to use Overwatch, how some characters will die. But as the game goes on and you realize just how complex the combat in this game can be, it's
Mhm.
endless fucking strategies. It's awesome.
Yeah, especially if you can just like there's an enemy or a couple enemies in a building, so you set a couple guys on Overwatch, and then you send a grenade not to kill the enemies but to blow up the wall. Then it exposes all these guys, and then they have to run. But then you're just taking them out with all their guys who've already been set up.
Yeah. Or one of the strategies I really picked up in the later half of the game was I'd get my sniper up on a perch, and then it would be somebody's job to just use a grenade or a rocket to blow up a wall to give the sniper a better shot at the enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if they weren't in Overwatch, it was just like, fuck, right now she can't see them, but if I blow up that wall, she can see everybody, and she's just going to start picking them off. It's fucking, oh my God, I love this fucking game.
And then there's also all the utility items. Like, yeah, you start off with a basic grenade, but then you can get a healing pack, and you can get like some other things. Some of the things are kind of useless, like smoke grenade, or I've used the flashbang a couple times. One of the ones I really like using is what is it? It's not a claymore, but it's like a little mine you can set off. And then as soon as they step on it, it just blows them up. So you can kind of set up little traps as well for people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, and that kind of is going to be a little bit of a segue into the other half of the game, which is the resource management, the building of your ship and stuff. When you're in your base on your ship, you collect supplies as you play throughout the game. Basically, look at it as like your gold, like your currency.
Yeah.
And you can have your mechanic build equipment for your characters, cashing in your supplies. And then each character like equips one type of armor, their basic weapon, a secondary weapon, and then a utility item, which can be a grenade or a healing kit or armor piercing bullets or whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
And then as the game goes on, you get a hold of better armor. That'll give them 2 equipment slots, or in some cases 3 equipment slots. So then you're mixing and matching. The only thing that was like, for about the first 2/3 of the game, I was constantly out of money. And
Yeah.
so when I would go to send a squad into a game, because when you finish a mission and your squad comes back to the ship, if they weren't touched by enemies, they're fine. But the more damage they took, assuming they're not dead, the more damage they took, the longer they're on the shelf while they heal up to be able to go back into the next mission. Which again
Mhm.
is another reason why you need to worry about developing more than just 5 or 6 characters. Because if you send all your aces into a tough mission and some of them get the shit kicked out of them, you're going to have somebody else you can send into another mission while they're kind of resting up.
Mhm.
But when they come back, there's an option to strip all the armor, the weapons, or the utility items off any soldier that's not in the squad you're about to send out, so that you
Yeah.
can then equip them on other people. And by the end of the game, I wasn't doing that as much because I had so much equipment that all my best soldiers were just fully equipped all the time. But in
Yeah.
the early going, like we almost felt like a fucking a community like fucking hockey team, and it was like, okay, game's over, take off the gear, give it to the next guy. You know what I mean? Like it was like everybody shares the same 3 guns. We can't afford a 4th gun. We have 3 guns. You all fucking share them.
Dad's got to get
Uh,
a second job if you want that.
yeah, exactly. So again, there's so much mixing and matching. And what's really cool about it is that when you're on your ship, there's a lot of things you do between missions. And it's not just buying new weapons or fucking armor. You have a scientist on your ship who researches based on, because you bring back the carcasses of the villains, the enemies you kill. And then once you've got enough carcasses or different types of carcasses, you can ask your scientist to dedicate himself to like studying a certain type of enemy. And then once you've studied that enemy, you'll unlock a new weapon or whatever from that enemy type. And so that it's, you're making all these decisions, not just about how you want to build your soldiers and the abilities you want to give them, and not just about the weapons you want to build with your supplies, but where do you want to dedicate your scientists? Like, do you want them researching whatever will open up the next main objective of the story? Do you want them researching a new kind of armor, a new weapon that you can then apply to your soldiers to take them into the field? And it takes time. It's like the game has an internal calendar. So if it says it'll take 5 days for them to complete research on a weapon to get that weapon into your inventory, then you have 5 days where you need to do things while he's doing that.
Yeah. And then sometimes it also like pop up like, oh, we got a breakthrough, and it's like a path you didn't want to go down, but suddenly, oh, hey, this armor is now, you can do it in like 3 days instead of like 10. So you're like, ooh, do I go down this path or not? Oh,
and that's tough because it'll pop up and be like, but we need to make use of this breakthrough immediately.
yeah.
And you're like, fuck, I was about to dedicate 8 days to getting that super new armor. But if I give him 2 extra days, then he can get this grenade developed right now.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck. But then while you're doing that, keep in mind that Avatar project counter out in the main world is counting up. So you can't let that get too high, because then the aliens win and it's game over. So you're trying to balance your time between like, fuck, okay, 3 of my best soldiers are hurt and they're each going to need 6 days to recoup. The scientist is going to take 5 days to develop this armor. So I'm going to spend the next 5 or 6 days just floating around the map, collecting old supplies and fucking around. But then while you're doing that, something will pop up and it'll be like an emergency red mission that like, oh, the aliens have found fucking resistance troops in Mexico, and if you don't go save them, you're going to lose supplies. It's like, but I can't save them because all my best soldiers are hurt. But if I don't send somebody, I lose it's fucking, it can be a very, dude, everything, it doesn't matter if you're in the overworld collecting supplies or you're in combat fighting enemies, everything can be going splendid. And then one random thing happens and you're just like, well, now we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like you always need to have a backdoor strategy.
Yeah. One of the things is like when you're also researching, you research one of the Advent corpses, whatever.
Yeah.
The Tigan will be talking about it, but then he's got this big saw. He's just ripping into this alien, and he's like, "Well, we've discovered this about this alien." And
yeah, he's like, he talks so elegantly while he's just like hacking up fucking alien bodies and shit. So that's all fucking going on. And so, sorry, now that we're almost 50 minutes into this, getting back to some of the advice I was going to offer everybody early on. When you start the game, you start out like in one particular area of the world, and then you can fly around the rest of the planet. And one of the big things is whenever you open up a new territory, like, so say you start out like Western US, and then Mexico is underneath you, just for argument's sake. You have to do something called make contact, with
Yeah.
Mexico. And so to make contact with Mexico, you need to, it costs another type of supply in the game, which is intel. And the amount of intel it'll cost you to make contact with them depends on how close they are to the last place you built a tower, which is where you make contact with people and stuff like that. But you also need to have the ability to contact more people by building up comm stations within your ship, because your
Hmm.
ship's got this area of like 12 or 15 rooms that you can dedicate to whatever you want. They can be medical centers to heal your soldiers faster. They can be comm centers so that you can make more, because you start the game with, I don't remember, but you start the game with like, you're going to contact 4 areas. And
Yeah.
once you've contacted 4 areas, you can't contact anymore until you build a comm center on your ship, which will then let you contact 4 more areas. But every room you build on your ship needs power. So you need to build power relays on your ship to provide power to all the other rooms on your ship. But you also need to build training centers to be able to buy new abilities for your fucking soldiers. But you also
Yeah.
need to build, like, it's fucking, and so then that becomes another portion of the game. And all those things cost supplies,
And
which
they
is the
also
currency you also use to buy equipment.
and all those buildings need usually they need an engineer to build them, and then they need an engineer to like staff them. So you could build something, but if you got no one to like really work it, it's just going to sit there pretty much. I mean, you can
Yeah.
build like a workshop, but I think like one of those good strategies is if you build a workshop right in the middle, then whatever's on the left and the right, you can just I think put an engineer in the workshop, and then you get 2 little like robot workers. So one engineer suddenly becomes 2, so it can kind of be a little bit more efficient that way.
Yeah, most of the rooms in the that you can build on your ship can be leveled up, not only like upgraded by spending money to make them better, but yeah, you one of the resources you collect throughout the game are engineers, and you can drop them into any room and kind of make it, oh, instead of healing your characters in 6 days, they heal in 3 days, like, and that kind of stuff. So then again, when you're back out on the overworld and you're trying to decide which missions you're going to take on, I hope that the picture's becoming clear now. You have this counter at the top that if it fills up, the game is over. So you need to take on main missions to slow that counter down. But you can't take on the main missions until you've gathered enough supplies to buy enough equipment to level up your characters to make them stronger to take on those main missions. So then you're taking on little missions in between. And little missions can have rewards from like, hey, this one will get you some extra supplies. This one will get you some extra intel. If you complete this one, maybe you'll get an engineer that you can then drop onto your ship to put them anywhere you want. And so it becomes so much about trying to like manage the health of your team, not letting anyone die, but letting them all level up to get them into places, but making sure you've got a strong enough squad to take on the most important missions when they pop up to stop the game. Plus, like I said, you need to be making contact with regions throughout the world. So as the game goes on, your ship gets more full of comm centers and power relays, which gives you the access to contact more places. Everywhere you contact in the world then becomes a source of more supplies at the end of every month to make you more money. But I'm sorry, I know I keep saying it, but I'm 50 minutes in. Here's the fucking piece of advice. Early on in the game, make contact with an area where there's an alien facility that you can slow down the avatar counter, but you don't actually have to go in there and fight it. Just make sure that mission's on the table for when you do need it to slow your timer down.
And also, if you can get like a whole continent, kind of like Risk, if you get a whole continent, and then you put a radar tower. Some of them, I think, Asia, you need 2 radar towers. You get like a little continent bonus,
Yeah.
which really helps out sometimes.
And it's so if all of this sounds complicated to anyone that hasn't played it, I have to be honest, like it is. And this was, again, going back to it, my one kind of gripe. It explains how to go through a board and fight enemies, and it does that pretty well. But all this other stuff, you really just kind of learn by doing.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people on like I've been pretty active, like reading in the XCOM subreddit and stuff. There are a lot of people that are like, in your first game, you're really just going to spend 10, 12, 15 hours learning what all the different buildings do and fucking around, or all the different rooms you can build do and stuff, and kind of fucking around.
Yeah.
And then you're probably going to restart and be like, okay, now I know what matters early. Now I've got a game plan. Because it's, dude, I don't know about you, Robert. I found it very intimidating when I'm like starting to play and they're like, you got to make sure you make contact. So then I'm trying to make contact and they're like, you need comm rooms on your ship. So then I build a comm room and then they're like, you don't have enough power to fucking run the comm room. And I'm like, well, then I got to clean out another room to build a power station, but I don't have enough money to build a power station. So I need to go out and do some fighting, but I don't have any money to buy any equipment to get any soldiers strong enough to go out and do fighting to get money to build a power station. And it's just like, again, like toward the end of the game, I had like 3,000 supplies. All my soldiers were healthy. Like I was a tank. But it takes a long time to get there. The early game is so much harder.
Yeah, it's frugal, especially once you research an upgrade, then you still have to pay for that upgrade. So it's not just available right away. So it's like, oh, and then it's like, do I buy something that like armor for everyone, or do I get a new sniper rifle, or do I get a new shotgun? So you really kind of like go, what are my strengths? Like, am I shotgun friendly, or what am I really want to focus on here? So it kind of really makes some tough decisions there in resource management.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it like, in the most basic terms, I could spend 300 supplies on a basic armor upgrade for everybody who, if they're wearing basic armor, they get an extra health. Or I could spend 200 supplies on some super armor that I can equip on one person.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so where is your money best spent? And there's a lot to it. And then again, when you throw in like, and a lot of the stuff we've explained is in just the base game. When you throw in the War of the Chosen expansion, that's when you get those 3 extra types of characters that can join you, like the 3 rebel groups where they can all join you.
Mhm.
That's where the Chosen keep popping up, which are these 3 like super fucking soldiers who they keep popping into random missions and fucking with you. And then you also open up the ability to do the resistant comms. That's not, or not the resistance ring. That's not in the base game.
Yeah.
And
And
in
then
that,
those
what's
guys,
that?
like as soon as you get like more, if you do more missions with them, you get more influence with them. And then I think it's every month you get little even more perks. Like you can get the black market. There's a black market where you can sell like alien bodies, and then you can use your intel to buy new guys, more supplies, whatnot. And then so then you could be like, oh, the everything, and you get 20% more money from whatever you sell, or it could be,
Yeah.
oh, you get +2 contacts or whatever, and some of them are really crucial to have.
Oh, one of the best. So, like, again, this is only in the War of the Chosen DLC. It's not the base game. It's with the DLC. Yeah, you pick up these, like, as you play through the game, you unlock these like cards that at the end of every month you can assign to like these different characters, and they just give you perks. One of the
Yeah.
perks I assigned early on in the game that I never took off was make contact immediately. And
Oh,
so
that's
then
huge.
anytime I went to contact a new region, instead of it taking like 4 days, as long as I had enough intel and supplies, as soon as I click contact, I just had it open. And every place you contact increases the number of supplies you get in your monthly drop every month when you get paid, basically.
Hmm.
And so that was invaluable to me too. But I was like, what a great additional. You're like, so then you can pick soldiers to send out on these missions in that area. And then you don't control them. They go off and do them on their own, but they can pick up additional perks to go that way, which makes it easier to level up your guys too. I highly recommend playing it with the War of the dude, the Chosen
Oh,
alone. Those 3 motherfuckers, all 3 of them fucked me so many times with their stupid extra special abilities and shit. But then when you get to kill them, A, not only does it feel really fucking good, but
yeah.
B, you get their weapons that you can then give to one of your soldiers to go out there and just fuck people up with.
Mhm.
Oh my god. It just I've never been more. The only other DLC I ever in my life remember being this excited by was all the new Mario Kart 8 tracks.
Yeah.
Like the War of the Chosen DLC to XCOM 2 was like XCOM 2 was like a perfect bowl of ice cream, and then War of the Chosen was like the toppings,
Yeah.
and it made it even better. Uh,
It's kind of funny, like with those four chosen. Every other run, I've killed them right away, and I just got rid of them. This run though, I didn't. I just kind of left them. They kept on showing up. I just like get more ability points, and if you don't kill them, they show up in the very final mission. So it just makes that final mission that much harder.
oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, I had all of them dead going into there. So
Yeah.
uh, fuck,
Now,
those fucking
did
Chosen.
you find any of them like kind of easy, or they're just kind of always just messing with you?
The 3 Chosen.
Yeah.
I found the sniper one. He was, I don't know if it was a he or she. I think it was a she. Whatever. They were the one that gave me the most problems. The other 2 didn't fuck with me too bad, but that one that could snipe fucked me around.
Oh man, I found the sniper the easiest because he would go, "Oh, I'm gonna take a shot at you," and then like as the worst sniper ever, he takes a whole entire turn to actually take a shot, and you can kind
Yes.
of see where you need to. Oh, I'm gonna move 5 spaces to the right. Oh, then it's whatever. The warlock, he was just kind of annoying sometimes, like with his he'd like summon psychic spectral ghosts who would just kind of just like psychic zombies. They're just annoying. The one that I really hated is the first one, the assassin,
Yeah.
because she would just come out of nowhere, slice one of your guys, and
Oh,
then
excuse
disappear.
me. I'm sorry. When I said this, I'm sorry. That's the one. I don't know why I was thinking. Yeah, the one with the sword. I'm sorry. Yeah, she was the one that fucked me around the worst for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Apologies.
because
Yes.
she knocks down one of your guys, and then if you don't go and rescue your guy or kill the chosen right away, that guy's probably going to get captured, and then you got to go and rescue him in a mission. So
Yeah.
it's just so annoying, that girl.
Yes. I apologize. Yes, that was the one. Fuck. And she was the first one I dealt with, and the one I dealt with for most of the game. And
I
the
think
first one I killed
yeah.
when I finally killed her. And when I finally killed her, I was like, dude, I walked around here with my dick out for 2 days when I fucking finally killed that goddamn assassin.
Oh, that feels good.
I hope you're rotting in hell, you piece of shit. Fuck you.
Yeah, because you can kill them in regular missions, but they just keep on respawning. You have to like go to like unlock one of their territories, and soon as then you got to like research like in the resistance contacts, whatever. You have to keep on researching like where their base is, and then you finally unlock the mission to go and finally kill them and put them down for once. So it's a little slog there to try and
Yeah.
get rid of them.
But again, though, it's brilliant that it's optional. Like, you don't even have to go fight them if you don't want to. And if you want to invest a bunch of time, you have to like research their location 3 different times with gradually stronger soldiers, like higher ranked soldiers, to find their base. And then once you find their base, then you can go fight them once and for all, kill them so they won't show up anymore, and you get a couple of their weapons. But I like that, again, it was all optional. Like, if you're like, hey, I don't care if they keep popping up, I don't have time to deal with them, then you don't have to. But I can't imagine not.
They definitely change some of the levels, and then also if you don't take them out, they'll like every month they'll gain a little bit more intel, and then they'll start an attack, and they'll like attack your Avenger, which is those are one of some of my favorite missions, because instead of just like the 6 guys, you can bring out 12. You can get an extra building where you get like 4 turrets, and then there's like a whole bunch of enemy vehicles where like your ship pretty much has 400 health, and these little things are just shooting at you. So every little turn it goes down a bit, but then there's a huge ass like howitzer at the end, and every like couple turns, like 5 turns or 6 turns, it takes off like 100. And so you're kind of in a little rush, and there's like maybe 20 aliens in one of those missions, plus the chosen. So it's a little bit of a tough one, but man, it's so much fun.
That was, I only ever had, I got attacked once. Cause like you said, every month the chosen, they get a little bit closer to finding where you are. And if they find you, then they can come attack your ship. Yeah. I only ever got attacked once, and then I didn't let it happen again. I stopped the other 2 beforehand, because no mission in this game gave me more trouble than when they attacked my ship. I lost like 2 of my best fucking soldiers on that mission. It was because it is like Robert said, you get to control way more of your soldiers than you would at a normal time, which is awesome. But you can't let any enemies get to your ship at the back of the level. You have to take out the turrets that are shooting at your ship before they kill your ship. And they are just throwing swarms of fucking enemies at you at the same time. And it can be incredibly difficult to balance keeping them away from your ship, fighting them off so they don't kill you, but taking out the turrets before the turrets blow up your ship. That was the hardest mission I played, was that one where the assassin led a fucking attack on my goddamn ship. And once that happened, I killed the assassin. I went and killed the assassin. And then I was like, I don't know where the fuck you other 2 are, but nothing else matters to me right now. I'm not going through that shit again.
Yeah.
Because holy fuck. It was, but again, it's just like, as I'm sure you all have picked up from the last hour of us blabbing here, like the sheer number of things you've got on your plate that you're trying to like manage all collectively. I will say, I don't particularly enjoy like party management. One of the reasons I never got into games like Suikoden was I hate managing a giant party. Like, I don't really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. And this game, I actually enjoyed that side of it as much as the combat.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it's almost 2 games in one. It's so brilliantly done. And neither one feels half-baked compared to the other either. Like, it's just, oh, fuck, what a game. What a fucking game. I know we really talked about the story, but I gotta say, dude, like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and spoil any of the major plot. Like, I was saying to you off air, I personally didn't, the story was fine, but the story to me just felt like a necessary mechanism to just keep the game moving.
kind of just kind of keep moving forward. Yeah, it's a yeah. I mean, some of the, like they give more of the background, like if you're just in your base, just walk. Like if you actually just spent like a couple minutes and going through your base, you can kind of zoom in, and all your guys, individual guys, are like doing things. And then in the top right, like man, Taigen will pop up, and he'll tell like a little bit of his story. Like Shen, she'll pop up, tell a little bit of her story, and then Bradford, he'll tell a little bit of his story. So you kind of those characters, they kind of flesh out their story a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you can like if you research something, then a whole big spiel comes up. Like after you research, like chopping up a sectoid, then Taigen will just like he'll talk about it, and then you can kind of read and just get a whole little story about the sectoids, how they're different from the first game, and what happened here, and that kind of like goes into like the main story a little bit as well, like with what's going on with these aliens.
Yeah, and like and you're right. If you want to do all the reading, like there is more to it, and there is a story. Like you do figure out, like most of humanity has kind of been brainwashed to accept the aliens and be like, no, they're fine, they're in charge, we're good.
Mm,
And then you kind of realize, it's like out of the gate that they're pieces of shit, and then the
yeah.
whole game kind of becomes about showing the rest of the world that they're pieces of shit and what their plan is, and then having to stop it. And that was all well and good, but like I did see a comment on our Discord where somebody was like, I've been trying to play it, and they're like, I can't get into the plot at all. I will say, like, don't play XCOM 2 for the plot. Like there is a plot there, but this isn't like Fire Emblem Three Houses is probably my other favorite tactical game, and there's a much better story there than there is in this one. This is basically aliens are here, they're bad, we need to figure out what they're up to and show the world. Like it's play it for the combat and the resource management and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like
And
the story could have been better, but we're about here. We're here for the gameplay. That's
yeah.
the main thing. Yeah.
The only other thing that I wanted to touch on was people have been asking me where I played it, and I'm gonna just between me and you, I played it on
I won't
PC.
tell.
I know. I played it on PC, and it was. I will say I did play it on my Steam Deck a bit because people asked me how it plays on Steam Deck. It was okay. It did kill the deck fast, like one board, and my deck was basically done. Like I needed to charge it again. I can't speak to how it plays on any of the consoles, Xbox, Switch, PlayStation. I will say I words I don't often speak. I found this best played with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, like I played it on Xbox, and I think maybe just because it's like 9 years old right now, I got a lot of glitches. Like I would play a whole map like 45 minutes, and then it would just crash, and I was like, "Are you serious? Oh my god!"
Oh my
So
god, I would have lost my fucking mind.
it happens so many times. So I
Okay.
think the next time I play it, it will be on PC. And
Okay.
then, because if you do play it on PC, and another little thing you can do is there's like an unofficial mod called Long War,
Mhm.
which changes the game a little bit. And I think like the people who made Long War for the first XCOM, the people who made XCOM were so impressed, they kind of like, okay, you got to jump on board for XCOM too. That's how good you guys are.
Right.
I think I'll be doing that next time.
Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me to play with mods. I've never played a modded game in my life. If ever there was one that was going to get me to do it, it is this one. I was saying to Robert, like I put 73 plus hours into this game over the last month or so. I need a break. I'm gonna push away from the table and let this digest a bit.
Oh
But
yeah.
I will be back, and I would prefer because you mentioned all the crashes on Xbox. I will say I never once had a crash on like I'd
Oh,
have
there
the
you go.
occasional turn where like an enemy would move and then it would kind of get stuck in its like motion and I'd have to wait it out for 15 seconds.
Hmm.
But I don't think I had a single time where the game crashed on me or anything.
Yeah.
So it ran flawlessly. I played it on veteran. There's rookie, veteran, commander, and legend. I played it on veteran. Definitely going to crank it up next time. Again, I found the early game very difficult. I found the end game very easy. We were so powerful.
Yeah,
But
I've tried upping. Like I played on veteran too, and I've tried upping the difficulty, and I can't really get past the first mission. I keep on like losing like 3 out of my 4 guys. I'm like, what is going on? And some of the people who play on like commander difficulty or whatever it is, and they go through like a level without getting hit. I'm like, are you guys? You guys are cheating somehow. This is not right. This is
yeah,
no way.
it's the thing about it is like it's I know this is going to sound dumb, but like you can cheese it and also you can't cheese it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like there are things in this game that are set up to let you cheese. Like you said, you could set a ring up around nonstop respawning reinforcements and just level up and
Hmm.
feast. And in levels where there aren't a timer, if you really want to go slow, you can crawl 2 spaces at a time, take your
Oh
time, slow and steady. But at the same time, like I found the enemy AI not brilliant, but not completely incompetent either. Like if I left a guy out in the open, they made me pay for it.
Oh yeah.
And that
Oh
was
yeah.
what I wanted. It was a competent opponent for me, which was all I was looking for.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
like you can cheese. I think one of the best ways to do that was my favorite. One of the for the three new factions is I love the Reaper. She
yeah,
was my best one because you can get an ability where if the Reaper, because she's always like, you can send a guy in to conceal,
yeah.
and if someone like gets a little bit close, boom, discovered. But she has like a smaller, I guess you would say, hitbox for that, so she can move around a lot more. She moves a really far, long distance, and she has an ability where if she sees a group of people or an enemy, you can see that guy. Everyone else can see that guy. So if you have, you can just go and to the whole map. All the other guys just put on Overwatch. Don't even do anything. And what I would do sometimes is go around the whole map, and then you know where every single enemy is. You can see them move, and then you can just totally just set up how you can take on that mission there.
See, and that's one of the great things about this game because like I never did that at all. I actually found the Reaper. My Reaper was my least used of my 3 extra classes. I was a Templar guy first and foremost, and then I'd use Mox on occasion. And then I had a Reaper and used them, but mostly for their Claymore. But that's one of the great things about this game is that like you could take it on like the next time I play it, I'll focus on different classes and try using them more and different strategies. They're so I I can't sit here and blanket recommend this game to everybody because I do think there are people that will get frustrated by it. It's not very handholdy. It's slow. There's a lot of time commitment. And a lot of the time, like I'll be honest with you, dude, very rarely would I put 70 hours into a game. Second, even less likely that I would put 10 plus hours into a game, realize I've made a mess, but now I know what I'm doing, and then restart after buying DLC and play it on my PC. In 329 episodes of this show, that has never happened, and
Yeah.
it may never happen again. But I'm telling all of you out there right now, if you like tactical games, if you're into these types of games, I would not recommend this as your first tactical game. I would say
No.
play a Fire Emblem or play a Mario Rabbids or something like that before you play this.
Yeah.
But if you are into the genre, as I have become such a big fan of over the last 10, 15 years, I think this is best in class. Like
Oh yeah.
I looked up a few lists of best tactical games to get ready for this episode, and most of them had this and Final Fantasy Tactics as the top 2.
Mhm.
As much as I adore Final Fantasy Tactics, I like this better.
Oh yeah. I've
Um,
played Tactics so many times. Never finished it, but this one is, yeah.
yeah.
This one so much more.
Yeah, I listen, we're gonna wrap this up. We could do another hour on the different strategies and everything like that, but it's just we're gonna it this I the only thing I will say is if you've never played this game and listening to this made it sound a little bit overwhelming and confusing, cards on the table, quite frankly, I think it is a little overwhelming and confusing to start. But if you're a fan of the genre, it's worth the 7 or 8 hours to just fuck around and just figure out the basics of what the buildings do and then restart and go to town. And
Mhm.
I hope you fall in love like I have, because this game, fuck me, this game. Uh, Robert, we need to score this thing. I usually let my guests come up with a scale if they've got one. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, actually, I'm. So the top, you were saying that there's the Advent bar, and there's. I was actually at the game when I was playing the game. I was like, how many are there? So there's 12.
Okay,
So I think out of 12.
that's good. I like it. That's a good scale. Then the floor is yours, my friend. Out of 12,
Ooh.
what would you give XCOM to?
Even though this run, I had a lot of issues with the Xbox version. Still, this is. I always pick up this game every year, and I think every other year I pick up the first one. Ah, man, it with War of the Chosen, I'm gonna have to say 12. Like
Yeah.
I yeah, I can't really think of anything wrong with it. The only thing I can think wrong of it is it's been 9 years, and where the hell is XCOM 3?
Oh, fuck. Agreed. Now this is in the same, like, I've been like, where the fuck is Half-Life 3? It says playing those, and now I'm on the same boat. I'm like, and for all of you telling me, yes, I am going to go back and play some older XCOM games now. But yes, I want XCOM 3 as well. It's like, that'll be my most anticipated game if it gets released someday. Yeah. I have been like, you know, the Pablo Escobar meme where he's like waiting in his pool and sitting there and he's just looking sad. That has been me trying to figure out if I'm going to do one of my incredibly rare break my perfect score things. And I have decided that yes, XCOM 2 is worthy of the Super Mario World rule wave. I give it a 12 out of 12 as well. I got to be honest with you guys. Like, when we do my top 100 favorite games part 3 in another year for episode 300 of Expansion Pass, like, XCOM 2 has a chance at my top 5. This is the best video game that I have played since I got my hands on like Tetris 99 and Mario Kart 8 and The Last of Us, which are all top 5 games for me. I put this at the high, like, that is how highly I think of this game. The only criticism I have is I don't find it particularly welcoming to new players, but I cannot stress enough. If you like the genre, power through. You're probably smarter than me, and I figured it out. This is top 5 or 6 best games I've ever played in my life. Incredible. Incredible. The gold standard. Like, I really want to go back and play some more Fire Emblems, and now I'm worried they're all going to feel so inferior to XCOM 2. And I love Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem. But what a game.
It's like eating junior chickens all your life, and then you suddenly get a crispy chicken. You're like, what is this? This is way better.
This was a fucking religious experience for me. I enjoyed this game that much. I promise you all, it'll be a long fucking time before you hear Adam Blank sit on a podcast and put 70 plus hours into a PC game with the DLC and then slap a perfect score on it. That may never fucking happen again. But XCOM 2, and I agree with you. XCOM 2 on its own is a borderline perfect score. XCOM 2 with the War of the Chosen, untouchable. Untouchable.
Yeah.
That was fun. Man, oh man. Robert, I know this took a while. It didn't take as long as fucking Ian and I did last year with Mass Effect, which took us to like the fall. But I appreciate your 4 months of patience, and I hope it was worth it. Thanks again for your generosity in supporting our charity streams, and thank you for supporting the podcast. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and if I could just do one little shout out.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just shout out to Ian for getting me on Remember the Game. And Ian, thank you. And Ian, also, your mom's hot. I think you know that.
I love it. I think that's our first shout out to a hot mom on the show. Something we need to do more of.
Him about it, because if people don't know, Ian and I kind of work at the same company, and he started, and I was a mentor. He was a little trainee guy, and it was just good guy.
Agreed. Yeah, he's a beauty. I'll have to meet his mom. All right. We'll get out of here before we talk more about Ian's mom. Guys, or Robert, I'm going to go to do the outro and thank everybody. But thank you, my friend, for the support and for finally getting me to play this game. Wow. Good job. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
That is going to do it for this week's episode. Robert, thank you so much. Not only for giving me a call to talk XCOM 2, but for choosing XCOM 2 on your episode, which finally got me to play XCOM 2 and fall heads over heels in love with it like I have. And thank you for your generosity, donating to the Stollery Children's Hospital, which led you to the show to pick XCOM 2, which I then fell in love with. Good things happen to good people, and I tag along and find video games that are great. So Robert, thank you. Great job as always. Well, never mind as always. You've never done it before, but great job anyways. You're batting 1,000. 1 for 1. Good job. And more importantly, not more importantly, this outro sucks. Robert, thank you for the support. And to all of you listening, thank you for listening. That's all I should have fucking said. It's going to be done 2 minutes ago. Jesus, I've had like 3 coffees today. Fuck. Anyways, Robert, thank you. All of you, thank you so much for listening. I'm very, very grateful for the support. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I am going to throw it out there one more time. For all of you that have been asking for timestamps and ad-free episodes of Remember the Game, really consider our Patreon, okay? It's super simple. You can add them to all your podcast services, including Spotify. We even have them set up in separate feeds now. So if you're on Spotify, you can add 5 different shows to your feed if you're a $5 up Patreon, or $3 up, you still get $3 or 3 shows a month. You're getting Game Patch, you're getting Expansion Pass, you're getting Remember the Game ad free, and then at $5, you're also getting our Simpsons show, Purple Monkey Dishwasher, and my vlogging show, The Rambling Idiot. You add them there, no ads, you got timestamps, you're all over the map. And it helps us keep the bills on around here. So I ask you to check it out. If you don't want to, it's your prerogative. Live your life, you know? Appreciate all the support, everyone. Thank you. Leave us a good review if you enjoyed it. I'm rambling, so I'm going to get out of here. Thanks some patrons and shut this thing down. If you are a patron, we'll be back tomorrow with Expansion Pass 251, where we will be talking about gaming villains that would make great heroes. We're going to do a babyface turn episode this week. And we'll be back next week with a whole nother slab of podcasts, including Remember the Game 330, which, if everything goes according to plan, will be about WWE Day of Reckoning for the Nintendo GameCube in light of WrestleMania weekend right around the corner. Take it easy, everybody. Talk to you later. Cheers. So long. Goodbye. Remember the Game is brought to you by our Patreons. I could not puke up all the content I turn out every week without all of your support. The following people are at the senior executive vice president level or higher at patreon.com/rememberthegame, and as such, I'm contractually obligated to say their names as quickly as I can. And because I'm struggling so hard with the outro this week, I'm just going to go oldest to newest. I'm going to go with Old Faithful because I kind of know some of these off the top of my head. So a huge thank you to Remember the Game Hall of Famer, Slick Motherfucking Rick, Makeshift Mellow Magic Money, Joe Buck, Sharonic, J Nasty 15, Jort King Keegs, Dan of Dissect That Film, Doug Dorn, Chris Fleury, Andrew Wright, Jordan, Eldest Millennial, Lil Bunny Fufu 89, Angry Ticks, Dave Thompson, No One Cares, Scott Brooks, Aaron Lawson, JSK Fusick, A-Town, Morgan, Zane Donovan, Ryan Kinchin, Mike Maloney, G9PSX, Mercury 869, Wolfgang, Darren, Andy Hudson, Doogie, Wolf Magic 21, Johnny from Virginia, Squints, Dean Donian, Zonko 504, Jeff Bergeron, Daniel, John Woodruff, Randy Barrage, Just a Fish, Girthbound, Holmes, Zach Shepard, Captain Black Silver, Triple, Jugger 22, Elijah Burns, It's That Nerd, James, Madam Nutsitch, DBXJ, Jameer Williams, Steve Dalk, Standard Ass Brian, Dude, Where's My Game, Mizuru, Juris Dr. Mario, Tyler, Phil Lencher, Joe the Sandman, Jake Carter, Laces Out Dan, Growly Wog, Beaver Boy, Thomas Smith, Leroy Westridge, Rush's Dog Walker, Stud Still Smash, Matt Babineau, Gabe, Fuzzy99, Decoy Man, a dude named Adam, Wyatt the Surgeon Who's Not a Surgeon Rowe, Blaine the Hoagie Man, Scary Terry, Storm Beagle, Archangel Otaku, Earl, Hagel Waffle, Jimothy Oroku Saki's Gardener, Cody Richardson, General Fury. I use small words to help Adam say it more good. Thank you. Max Lagroom, James Juan Francesco, John of the Adult Children Podcast, Mr. Arkansas, Judge MK, Sam Carpenter, Donnie the Dude, Walter, Nerdy Hybrid, Squeak Nuts, Isaias, Hits Meals, Timmy the Exuberant Turtle, Wimp of Stupid, Stooges, TTRPG, Christian Gabriel, Maverick Marty, Musty Beetle, Graham Kennedy, Timothy Sabrinsky, My Left Nut, Beef Dingleberry, Quiet Place Queen, Christopher Britt, Zamatos, Big the Cat, Tadpole, T-Bear 87, Adam needs to play Bowser's Fury, not Adam Blank, just any Adam. Brandon DeZeba, Kia Pup, Monster SD Boner, AB Killen, Works For Me, Ted Explosion, Ryan Perry, Alex R, Itchy Nutsuru, Please Refrain From Tasting the Knob, Just Car Pranks, Rated X, Olint, Darth Skywalter, Postman, Nick Creature, Adam Martinet, The Big Deal, Ryan Donahue, Kevin Monroe, Can't Destroy Her, Pee-wee Squitters, Nordak, Leroy Jenkins, Lord Palmerston, Beers of War, Because 19, Infinity Rage, Marcus Mendoza, Lord Longrod von Hugendom II, Roger Staubach's Pool Cleaner, Lucas Shaman, Frosty Bear, Max Sandin, Sour Goatface, Alex Ramos, Faded Sufferance, Benjamin Atkins, Carbon Fiber Zombie, Chris Hill Isn't Scared, That Could Be Anyone's Ass, B Money, Penguin Milk, Fallen Snow Kiku, The Supreme Chozorizo, You Son of a Bitch, Why? Tell me why. Nice pull. E-Man Trucker, Mark Sneed, Shoeboxers, Tornado, Adam Blank still hasn't reviewed Mario Galaxy, Jay Callahan, Robbie Air, Sabin, Brian Richmond, Blobby Rogers, Bula, Matt Zeus, Too Much Karma, Plow King, Cesar, Fill Up My Mouth With Farts, Liquor Like Luigi, Cody Thompson, Kevin Kellums, Put-It-In H, Chaz Hammond, Elephant Calves, Mr. Jabroni, Big Daddy Randall, Ida Yellow, Ryan Whitcomb, Justin Tate, Daddy Secret Little Chubby, Nothing Could Possibly Go Wrong, Toby O.P., Scotty McGee, Alex McIntyre, Spider Cat, S, Eric Hopewell, Darbles, Girthworm Jim, David Schroeder, Moncal, Diablo Spartan, Justin Blair, McCracken, Wilco, VOS Rager, Super Jess, Captain Steve N, Ryan Stemmerding, Shank the Rat-Faced Bastard, Conebread, Wreck-It Ralpy, Dazerath, Super Science, Safarioth, Savage Boosh, Combo Chuck, MacGyver 88, Travis Sanders, Lord Salazar, Flater Flav, Zen Paladin, Captain Asbury Juice, Doogie Bowser MD, Thunderleaps, Legendberry, Jinxie425, Akira's Network, Horrorstalgia, a podcast, Game Boy Ganon, Fancy Store-Bought Dirt, Botfucker, Mikey Hag, Shane's World, Devin Collins, Trooper Galactus, Exotic Chaotic, and Just James. Good shout-outs. Not great, but good. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you. Talk to you later.